Chapter 1978. The Nine Dragons' heavenly origin formation was very powerful, but after the middle-aged man borrowed the power of the heavenly law, his power suddenly increased by several times. The other celestials and heavenly armor guards were all roaring, their voices shaking the sky. Who? The Nine-Dragon heavenly origin formation's barrier has been torn apart. The Deva holding the purple gold divine universe sword broke through the barrier and stabbed at Siekaru. At this moment, Qin Yun, who was lying on the grass, suddenly sat up. His eyes seemed to be burning with purplish-red flames, with electric arcs dancing violently. Seeing Qin Yun's eyes, the middle-aged celestial let out a startled cry. His arrogant face was suddenly filled with fear. Just as the sword was about to stab Siekaru, Qin Yun sat up, shot out two red light beams from his eyes, and sent the middle-aged celestial flying. His body crashed into the dragon rune heavenly saber. "Xiao Yun," Siekaru said in pleasant surprise, and then looked at the sky. The heavenly I had already disappeared. The heavenly I was completely devoured by Qin Yun. The Devas and the heavenly armor guards exclaimed when they saw Qin Yun's eyes. You swallowed the heaven's eye. Impossible. No one can control the heaven's eye. The middle-aged man leaned against the dragon mark heavenly saber, his face full of fear. He cried out, "Who are you? Who are you?" Qin Yun did not say a word. His eyes emitted purplish-red sparks as his aura surged like the might of the heavens. Originally, Siekaru and Xian Rujing were pleasantly surprised, but seeing Qin Yun's current state, they cannot help but become worried. Qin Yun charged at the middle-aged celestial. A purplish-red mist condensed in his palm. It looked like a very strong divine universe purple gas. "You can't kill me. I have the power of the heavenly Tao to protect me." The middle-aged man screamed in fear. The purple gold heavenly armor on his body surged with a violent golden light. After Qin Yun rushed over, his palm directly struck the middle-aged man's head. The middle-aged man's back was against the dragon-patterned heavenly saber. The power of the purple gold heavenly armor on his body was released to the extreme. However, the barrier released by the purple gold heavenly armor was easily broken by Qin Yun's palm. Qin Yun's palm slammed towards the middle-aged celestial's head. Boom! The sound was like a clap of thunder. The middle-aged celestial being's head was struck by the violent palm force, and his head and body exploded, accompanied by a burst of purplish-red lightning. Even the violet gold heavenly armor was torn apart by the violent energy, and only the violet gold divine universe sword that had fallen to the ground was spared. The leader of this group of celestials had been killed just like that, by borrowing the power of the heavenly Tao. He should have been very strong, but he was killed by Qin Yun with a single palm strike. Someone who could devour the heavenly eyes and control the power of the heavenly eyes was so terrifying that they could easily kill a Deva who borrowed the power of the heavenly Tao. The other heavenly beings and heavenly armor guards screamed and fled. "Don't even think about running," Qin Yun shouted angrily. Suddenly, a purplish-red mist appeared in the sky. The purplish-red mist rapidly sank in the air, and it looked as if a part of the sky had collapsed. That was supergravity. However, it had turned into a purplish-red mist. Boom! The sudden supergravity caused the group of Deva humans and heavenly armor guards to fall to the ground. They lay on the grassland and screamed in pain. Qin Yun kept roaring as a violent purplish-red mist surged out his eyes, strengthening the supergravity. It must be known that the ground of buried heavenland is very firm, and the supergravity released by Qin Yun is incomparably heavy. Even though those heavenly beings and heavenly armor guards have powerful equipment to protect their bodies, they are now screaming in pain. Boom! The strength of the heavenly armor guards is lower than the Deva humans. They were the first to explode under the pressure of the supergravity. Their bodies let out a loud explosion, and several hundred heavenly armor guards exploded and turned into purplish-red mist. "Who the hell are you? Heavenly Tao will not forgive you," one of the Deva humans shouted in trembling voice. "I'm a heavenly Tao." Qin Yun let out a deep roar. The ground suddenly sank by several meters. The bodies of those Deva humans were crushed in a flash. Their flesh, blood, and bones were torn and dissolved by the purplish-red supergravity. Qin Yun's eyes are still emitting very strong purplish-red flame and lightning. Although the heavenly eyes are not in the sky, the heavenly might in Qin Yun's eyes is not reduced at all. Even Xie Qiru and Xian Rujing felt incomparable fear when they saw Qin Yun. It is equivalent to them looking at the heavenly eyes at close range. Xiao Yun, I am your sister Qiru. Xie Qiru suddenly yelled. She is very worried that Qin Yun will be devoured by the heavenly eyes. I'm Ice Mother Tigress, your sister Rujing. Do you still remember me? Xian Rujing is also very worried. The purplish-red flame and lightning in Qin Yun's eyes suddenly disappeared. It is as if they have been absorbed into his eyes. His eyes return to normal. They are clear and bright, filled with unswerving determination. Of course I remember, Qin Yun said with smile. Divine Desolate's most beautiful ice goddess. So you are fine. I was worried to death. Xian Rujing rebuked and laughed, then walked over with Xie Qiru. Qin Yun said to Xie Qiru with smile, Sister Qiru, I am fine. Many thanks to you and Sister Rujing. Otherwise it would not have been so smooth. It is good that you are fine. I will go back and continue cultivating Ice Snow Spirit. I still have not finished cultivating it. Xian Rujing said. Qin Yun nodded. Xian Rujing casually picked up a purple gold divine universe sword. Qin Yun sent her into the Nine Sun Divine Soul and let her continue cultivating her Ice Snow Spirit. Xie Qiru very happily picked up the purple gold divine universe swords and said with smile, These are all very good weapons. I want to bring some back to Guanghan Palace for my sisters to use. Sister Qiru, I obtained Heavenly Eye. Qin Yun said, Heavenly Eye is truly awesome. Xie Qiru very happily smiled and said, What kind of ability does Heavenly Eye have? Qin Yun said, For now, it can only allow me to use Divine Universe Purple Energy and also allow my body to quickly refine Divine Universe power. Furthermore, my heavenly might has become even stronger. Strange, how did you obtain Heavenly Eye? Xie Qiru doubtfully asked. She already picked up the heavenly armor and purple gold Divine Universe swords. I don't know, I just followed your instructions and tried to sense Heavenly Eye. Then, the heavenly, I felt like it wanted to drill in my body. Qin Yun shook his head. He is also not very clear. What other abilities does Heavenly Eye have? Xie Qiru pulled Qin Yun's hands and carefully looked at Qin Yun's eyes. It can let me quickly draw runes. Qin Yun said, When I attacked that guy just now, runes quickly condensed on my palm. It was a set of suppressing armor runes. So, it's like this. No wonder you could easily break through his heavenly armor's defense. Xie Qiru said with smile. Very good. Xiao Yun has become even stronger. Qin Yun said with smile. Then I have to thank Sister Qiru. If you did not suddenly use 9 in Divine Soul to help me, I would not have succeeded. Earlier, Xie Qiru was jolted back many times by Qin Yun's power. She dragged her injured body and tried again and again to approach Qin Yun. Finally, she successfully shook hands with Qin Yun and stimulated the power of 9 in Divine Soul to help Qin Yun. Qin Yun is very clear about this process. I am your sister Qiru. Of course I want to help you. Xie Qiru sweetly smiled. Her beautiful eyes flickered with gentle ripple light as she stared at Qin Yun. Qin Yun hugged her slender waist and gently kissed her red lips. Xie Qiru's jade face became somewhat red. She said with gentle smile, Xiao Yun, Senior Yunlong is nearby. Cough, cough. I didn't see anything. I am busy with opening business. You guys continue. Yunlong's voice arrived. Let's go to the battlefield. Qin Yun said. When I fused with Heavenly Eye, I could see the situation of the battlefield. Father is being suppressed by Divine Cosmos Evil Dragon. Princess also came down from Mother Moon to help. Then what is the overall situation now? Xie Qiru thought about this matter and became very worried. Heavenly Law Divine Domain has the upper hand. Fortunately, the undead army suddenly became very strong and temporarily pulled back a bit. Qin Yun said, Princess's appearance can indeed greatly boost the morale of the undead army. After Qin Yun stored away the nine-dragon heavenly origin formation, Siekaru said, "Xiao Yun, release the heaven-leaping shuttle. We will quickly fly over to help." "No need for heaven-leaping shuttle." Qin Yun laughed. He tightly held Siekaru's jade hand and said, "I will use heavenly eye to look into the distance, then use light transformation sacred pupil's power to arrive even faster." "Truly awesome." Siekaru promptly moved closer to Qin Yun, grabbed his arm, and said, "Then let's go quickly." Qin Yun looked into the distance and used light transformation sacred pupil. His body transformed into a purple-red beam of light and flew out with Siekaru. In an instant, he flew far away. After Qin Yun and Siekaru left, Yunlong said in shock, "This guy is becoming more and more powerful." In the tyrannical energy battlefield, killing intent rose up and down like waves. All kinds of miserable screams and shouts converged, making the battlefield look like hell. Qinlong's fire dragon scale armor is in tatters, but the sun-suppressing divine arrow in his hand is not damaged. He relied on the sun-suppressing divine arrow to barely fight against divine Cosmos evil dragon. And near Qinlong, Fire Qilin's injuries are not light. He joined hands with Qinlong to deal with divine Cosmos evil dragon. Ancient Ox Devil, Black Mouse by Zay, and 3 dragons went to deal with those silver-scale purple winged dragons. There are dozens of the most powerful heavenly beings in the sky. They did not make a move and instead watched the battle from the sky. Only a small number of heavenly beings participated in the battle, and all the heavenly armor guards entered the battlefield to deal with the troublesome undead army. Emotionless, immortal, venerable, and immortal desolate sacred master are powerful sacred transformation experts. They mainly deal with the purple-winged race and other ancient race experts. Princess Anya is fighting with a group of heavenly beings. Although she has the suppression, sacred talisman weapon, and the divine cosmos sword, there are many heavenly beings, and all of them are very powerful. What makes her feel great pressure is that the heavenly beings in the sky are all wearing purple gold heavenly armor. This means that they are stronger and have a higher status. Heavenly Lion Monarch and Hercules joined hands and can barely block the Sky Dragon Shark King. The main reason is that the Sky Dragon Shark King's equipment is very powerful. They are all divine cosmos-grade equipment, making Heavenly Lion Monarch very angry. Divine Cosmos Evil Dragon is also covered in powerful equipment. He looked at Qinlong and said with a sneer, "Fire Dragon God, you were once one of Tian Fa's divine beasts. But now you are in such dire straits. Who asked you to take the wrong path?" Chapter 1979. Xinyu Evil Dragon. You want to capture me to threaten Xiao Yun? Dream on. Qinlong said angrily. Looks like you father and son have a good relationship. Xinyu Evil Dragon laughed even more happily and attacked even more crazily. Every time the purple gold divine universe sword in his hand attacked, there would be a violent surge of divine universe purple chi. When the divine universe purple chi rushed out, it was like a shockwave that struck Qinlong's body, making him feel extremely uncomfortable. The divine universe power had a very strong penetrative power to begin with. It could penetrate through many layers of space. If one did not grasp an effective technique, it would be difficult to block the penetrative power of the divine universe power, let alone block the stronger divine universe purple chi. Although Xinyu Evil Dragon kept laughing sinisterly and provoking Qinlong, he was also very angry in his heart. This was because he had not been able to take down Qinlong after a long time. In Xinyu Evil Dragon's eyes, it should be easy to take down someone with Qinlong's strength who did not have any equipment. Qinlong was very strong and also very brave. He was the kind of person who was not afraid of death. Even though he was at a disadvantage now, with his tenacity, he was able to block Xinyu Evil Dragon until he went crazy. Of course, Qinlong also had many injuries on his body. The armor formed from dragon scales was already in tatters, and his body was bleeding profusely. Shinyu Evil Dragon knew very well that if this continued, he would definitely be able to take down Qin Long and then deal with the other fellows. Not far away, the Heavenly Lion King was heavily injured. He was suppressed by the Heaven Dragon Shark King and a few huge beasts. His huge body was pierced through by a huge harpoon. A huge purple-gold net suddenly descended from the sky. The Devas who were watching the battle in the sky finally made their move. They released a net and trapped the injured Heavenly Lion King. After the net trapped the Heavenly Lion King, it gradually lifted him up. The Heavenly Lion King was lifted up and struggled continuously, but he could not break free. Heavenly Lion King, I've finally caught you. A Devis in the sky laughed loudly. The Heaven Dragon Shark King had very strong equipment, and his strength had increased a lot. Even if Hercules and the Heavenly Lion King joined forces, they could not defeat the Heaven Dragon Shark King. This damned stone man, it's your turn. The Heaven Dragon Shark King slashed at Hercules with his saber. Although Hercules had been hit several times, he was not seriously injured because of the strong Black Tortoise Formation's defense. In addition, Hercules' body was very agile and could avoid the ferocious attacks of the Sky Dragon Shark King. Now that the Heavenly Lion King had been captured, it would be difficult for the others to help him even if they wanted to. It was because they were all being held back by various powerful enemies. The Hercules wanted to head over to save the Heavenly Lion King, but was stopped by the Heavenly Dragon Shark King and a few huge beasts wearing heavenly armor. Seeing the massive Heavenly Lion King flying into the air, everyone felt helpless. Moreover, the Heavenly Lion King was enveloped by a very powerful divine net. It was very difficult to break through the divine net. It was obvious that such a divine net had been refined with the powder of the godly universe amethyst. Don't save me, kill those guys. The more he struggled, the tighter the net became. Moreover, it even released very powerful lightning bolts. Poodle, obediently follow the natural law divine realm. Otherwise, you will become food. Heavenly Dragon Shark King laughed. Suddenly, a purplish-red beam of light shot over. Qin Yun used his sacred light, transforming pupil, and arrived with Siekiru. When Qin Yun suddenly arrived, the ferocious heavenly might on his body immediately caused everyone on the battlefield to tremble in fear. Qin Yun is here. How did this brat become so strong? What's with that aura on Qin Yun's body? I wonder if he can deal with that group of heavenly beings. Whether or not we can turn the tables will depend on him. When the leading power of the Heaven Creation City saw Qin Yun arrive and felt his ferocious aura, they immediately became excited. Princess, receive the sword. Qin Yun shouted to the Dark Princess in the distance. The Dark Princess was currently dealing with a group of powerful heavenly beings, as well as the Purple Wing race. Qin Yun released those 9 Yang Emperor swords. Several intense golden lights suddenly rushed towards the Dark Princess, emitting waves of sword hum. When the sword force surged out, the killing intent whistled and rippled. It's the 9 Yang Emperor sword. The divine universe evil dragon shouted. Quickly kill that woman. 9 Yang Emperor sword? A heavenly being shouted in shock. Isn't it sealed? The moment the 9 Yang Emperor sword appeared, the 9 Yang undead army immediately cheered. Their morale seemed to be at an all-time high as they killed even more ferociously. Many 9 Yang Emperor swords fused into one and fell into the hands of the Dark Princess. The Dark Princess held onto the 9 Yang Emperor sword. The Emperor's might was vast and mighty, carrying a murderous aura that looked down on the world. Ho! The 9 Yang Emperor sword flickered with intense light and released a boundless sword force. The heavenly beings in Purple Wing race around the Dark Princess were all blown away by the energy wave formed by the aura. Die! The Dark Princess slashed horizontally at 2 heavenly beings with the 9 Yang Emperor sword in her hand. The threatening sword Qi, which was full of fierce killing intent, turned into a golden arc of light and swept out, cutting the waists of the 2 celestial beings in the purple gold heavenly armor. 9 Yang Palace King, it is indeed you. a purple wing race old man coldly looked at Qin Yun and flew over. Qin Yun was immediately surrounded by more than 10 heavenly beings and purple wing race people. The group of noble heavenly beings watching from the sky also sent out a few heavenly beings to capture Qin Yun. Xia Keru rushed towards Qin Long with the Divine Universe sword in her hand. She wants to deal with the Divine Universe Evil Dragon. The Divine Universe Evil Dragon and the immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor are one. Kira, long time no see. You have indeed succeeded in making that bastard floating cloud do something big. The immortal Desolate Great Emperor looked at Xia Keru and said coldly, "But your efforts are futile. You and him will be sealed in the end. You will only be pawned." Xia Keru's jade face was ice cold. The purple gold Divine Universe sword in her hand emitted a faint silver light. She coldly said, "Divine Universe Evil Dragon, little Yun will settle this with you." She stabbed out with her sword. Dazzling silver light brought along an extremely strong mental penetrating power. Divine Universe Evil Dragon. A little bitch. Divine Universe Evil Dragon's soul was attacked, and he roared in anger. "Big Brother Qin, go and save the Heavenly Lion King. Leave this guy to me," Xia Keru said to Qin Long in a low voice. "Imperial Tutor Xia, be careful." When Qin Long saw that Qin Yun has arrived and that he is not weak, he felt relieved and immediately rushed towards the Heavenly Lion King. After the Dark Princess obtained the Nine-Yang Emperor's sword, she started a massacre. Those heavenly armors are like paper in front of the Nine-Yang Emperor's sword. Qin Yun is surrounded by a few heavenly beings and purple wing race people, but he is not afraid at all. "Nine-Yang Palace King, how have you been? You still remember us, right?" A purple wing race old man said. "I don't remember. You are about to become a dead man. What's the point of remembering you?" Qin Yun sneered. "Dead man? How can our purple wing race die so easily? We are immortal." The purple wing race old man laughed loudly. These powerful races that were sealed in the burial ground of heaven were extremely difficult to kill. For example, the Ling Tian clan is very brave and fierce on the battlefield. Although many of them are injured, they're not killed. Qin Yun held the black sun, suppressing divine arrow tightly. His eyes suddenly shot out a purple-red lightning. That is the lightning chain of the electric locking sacred pupil. After Qin Yun obtained the heavenly eye, his light transforming sacred pupil and electric locking sacred pupil have greatly improved. When the purple-red lightning struck the purple wing race person, it immediately turned into a lightning chain and bound that purple wing race person. That purple wing race person cried out in alarm. He wanted to struggle free, but he did not succeed. "Quickly capture him," a heavenly being in the sky shouted. The purple wing race people and heavenly beings surrounding Qin Yun suddenly attacked. However, they all underestimated Qin Yun's strength, especially Qin Yun's attack speed. It is so fast that they are unable to catch him. Qin Yun held the sun-suppressing divine arrow and rushed towards the purple wing race old man like lightning. He stabbed with the sun-suppressing divine arrow. He activated the sun-suppressing divine arrow's myriad devour ability. After the sun-suppressing divine arrow stabbed into the old man's body, it quickly devoured a large portion of the old man's power. Qin Yun's sun-suppressing divine arrow can devour all kinds of energy. Then he condensed the absorbed energy and released it through the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Boom! After the sun-suppressing divine arrow devoured a large portion of the old man's energy, it rapidly condensed and then exploded. The purple wing race old man's body was torn apart by the explosive power of the sun-suppressing divine arrow. That burst of purple chi also pushed back the people who were encircling him. "In front of me, there is no one who cannot be killed," Qin Yun said in deep voice. His and Ling Yun's nether sun suddenly erupted with supergravity. This supergravity is not a simple pressure. When it is pressing down, the gravity condensed into a sharp weapon. Those heavenly humans and purple wing race, people who wanted to rush over, were pressed down to the ground. Runes suddenly appeared on Qin Yun's palm. Those are armor-suppressing runes. After they formed armor-suppressing power, they poured into the sun-suppressing divine arrow. More than a dozen heavenly humans and purple wing race people sensed Qin Yun's dreadful power and immediately cried out in fear. Qin Yun waved his hand and threw out the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Under Qin Yun's control, the sun-suppressing divine arrow pierced through more than a dozen heavenly humans and purple wing race people's bodies. After piercing through their bodies, the sun-suppressing divine arrow quickly devoured their energy and condensed it together. Qin Yun's sun-suppressing divine arrow condensed many kinds of energy, is trembling and whistling as it peers towards the heavenly dragon and Shark King. In a blink of an eye, the sun-suppressing divine arrow pierced through the heavenly armor on the heavenly dragon Shark King's body and pierced his formidable body from behind. Boom! A loud explosion shook the sky. The entire battlefield was shaken by the violent explosion. The earth shook again and again. After the heavenly dragon Shark King was hit by the sun-suppressing divine arrow, his body directly exploded. The fragments on his body flew in all directions along with the berserk energy wave, shaking the entire tyrannical battlefield. Even the Herculean god was sent flying far away. Everyone on the battlefield is scared witless by Qin Yun's power. Even Qin Yun's friends are very surprised because Qin Yun's strength has increased by a lot again. Qin Yun cultivated the powerful sun core. He can make the sun-suppressing divine arrow erupt with terrifying power. The sun-suppressing divine arrow flew back into Qin Yun's hand. He held the sun-suppressing divine arrow and rushed towards Xie Karu. "Sister Karu, leave him to me," Qin Yun shouted. Xie Karu was able to fight evenly with Shinyu Evil Dragon, but it was still not enough to kill him. After Qin Yun arrived, he released the super gravity on his body. God Universe Evil Dragon's knees were pressed down and his body slightly sank. Chapter 1980. The sealing of the Divine Universe Evil Dragon was mainly due to the efforts of the Nine Yang Palace King. Not only did Palace Lord Nine Yang participate in sealing the Divine Universe Evil Dragon, but he also dug out its heart and took out its dragon pearl. The heart was still sealed in buried Heavenland, while the dragon pearl was in Qin Yun's possession. Qin Yun had faced the Divine Cosmic Evil Dragon previously. Back then, the Heavenly Lion King had participated as well. The Divine Cosmic Evil Dragon had no choice but to escape in the end. The current Divine Universe Evil Dragon was much more powerful than it had been last time, and it was also wearing a full set of Divine Universe-grade equipment. Of course, Qin Yun's strength has increased a lot compared to before. Shinyu Xielong and Qin Yun fought again. Even though the various experts were fighting against powerful enemies, they would still pay attention to Qin Yun's situation from time to time. When General Peng saw Qin Yun appear with the Nine Yang Emperor's sword, he was filled with resentment towards the Nine Yang Hall King's reincarnation. However, he was filled with gratitude. Nine Sun Departed Spirit Army's kings all hated Nine Sun Palace King from back then, but now they want Qin Yun to defeat Divine Universe Evil Dragon. Palace King Nine Yang, whether or not we can seal Shin Cosmos Evil Dragon will depend on you. General Changda said, Nine Yang Palace King, if you are unable to seal the Divine Universe Evil Dragon, then you should just kill yourself. A Nine Yang tribe king said. Ling Tatian shouted, Palace King Nine Yang, show me the power you used to seal the Ling Tian clan. You once sealed the Divine Universe Evil Dragon, so you can definitely do it this time as well. Palace Monarch Nine Yang, you've sealed me before and caused me to lose my important heart. However, I have no complaints. I only hope that you could defeat the Divine Universe Evil Dragon and seal this evil dragon again. The Heavenly Lion King, who was encompassed by the net, shouted loudly. Those who knew Hall King Nine Yang spoke up one after another, although Qin Yun had yet to fuse with the 8 souls and 9 spirits. He was certain that the life of the King of Gods was not his first life. His earliest life must have been during the Nine Suns era, and he must have had countless connections with the Nine Suns royal family. The Divine Universe Evil Dragon roared with rage as the purple gold divine universe sword erupted with a violent aura. And it was like the wails of ghosts and the howls of wolves as it howled through the air. Roar! The violet gold divine universe sword slashed out furiously. The sword energy transformed into a furious black dragon, bringing with it the divine universe purple energy and biting cold evil energy. It rippled through space as it swept towards Qin Yun majestically. Qin Yun had already put on the heaven-trampling divine boots and used the core crystal to awaken them. Using the Sun Soul could make his strength even stronger. This battle was of utmost importance. It concerned the entire situation. As long as the divine universe evil dragon was defeated, then they would have won half the battle. Shua! Qin Yun waved his palm, and a gigantic heavenly lion claw suddenly appeared. The heavenly lion fighting dragon claw was unleashed, accompanied by a lion's roar. The heavenly lion's claw, formed from the divine universe purple chi, was extremely powerful. It grabbed at the sword chi that had transformed into a dragon, directly sweeping it apart. At the same time, Qin Yun used the light transformation sacred pupil and charged at the divine universe evil dragon. He held the floating cloud staff in one hand and the sun-suppressing divine arrow in the other. First, the sun-suppressing divine arrow flew through the air, engulfing the violent energy around it before shooting toward the divine universe evil dragon. "Don't even think about using this kind of trash to hurt me," the divine universe evil dragon roared. Its body trembled, and black dragon scales flew off its body. The dragon scales surged with evil aura as they charged toward Qin Yun. When Qin Yun saw the dragon scales, he loudly roared and used the heavenly lion's heavenly roar. The vast and mighty sound wave brought with it a fierce heavenly might aura. It formed a heavenly might Tao astral shield and attacked the dragon scales. Boom, 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 boom. The black dragon scales contained a very powerful evil aura. After being attacked, they suddenly exploded. A large area was immediately enveloped by the evil aura released by the dragon scales. Black fog filled the air, evil aura and violent wind wreaked havoc. Qin Yun and the divine universe evil dragon were both enveloped by the evil gale. Black energy waves continuously rushed out in all directions. The people near Qin Yun and the divine universe evil dragon had no choice but to stay far away. Even though they were still some distance away from the battlefield, they were still suffocated by the pressure. Whoosh whoosh. A violent wind suddenly erupted, accompanied by fierce lightning and fire. A large amount of evil aura was suddenly dispersed. Although the divine universe evil dragon is now in human form and is also an old man, his power did not decrease when facing Qin Yun. After the black evil aura dispersed, Qin Yun and the divine universe evil dragon appeared. The two were already fighting. The sun-suppressing divine arrow is circling around, waiting for an opportunity to attack. Qin Yun is holding a long rod. Wearing a pair of shoes filled with violent flame, he is fighting the divine universe evil dragon in close combat. The speed at which the two of them attacked was extremely fast. Even many of the experts present couldn't see their moves clearly at first glance. Although their attacks are very fast, their power is not weak at all. The power contained in each attack burst out, creating a violent energy wave. Buried Heavenland's ground is very sturdy. Otherwise, it would have been pierced through long ago. Haha! Former powerful 9 Sun Palace King. Now you are truly pitifully weak. You have already used the 9-Dragon Heavenly Origin Formation's power, but you are still unable to do anything to me. Qin Yun's floating cloud rod has indeed activated the 9-Dragon Heavenly Origin Formation's power, but it has been blocked by the Divine Universe Evil Dragon. Even with the 9-Dragon Heavenly Origin Formation, Qin Yun is still unable to break through the Divine Universe Evil Dragon's defense. Everyone is somewhat disappointed. If the Divine Universe Evil Dragon is not destroyed, they will definitely lose this battle. In the end, they can only hand over the buried heavenland or be killed by the heavenly beings. The floating cloud rod suddenly turned into a saber. The nether spirit's sacred blade's power burst out. This kind of soul attack power is very familiar to the divine universe evil dragon. The netherworld great emperor's broken saber. The divine cosmos evil dragon sneered. Is that bastard dead? He still hasn't appeared. Netherworld great emperor and Xia Wufeng went to the 9 netherworld, and there is no news of them. Whether it is divine, universe, evil dragon's soul, or body, they are very powerful, worthy of being a heavenly punishment divine beast born from heavenly Tao. Moreover, is the strongest kind. Divine universe evil dragon. Don't get carried away too early. Qin Yun shouted. Boom! Qin Yun's saber hacked down. Energy wave vibrated. It feels like the sky is collapsing. Heavenly Extermination 9 style, Heavenly Quake. This saber attack is very fast. The power is also very ferocious. The divine universe evil dragon wants to dodge, but his body is being suppressed by the supergravity. He can only block with great difficulty with his sword. Saber and sword fiercely clashed. The berserk energy wave burst out like a tsunami. The energy wave spread to the entire battlefield in an instant. The people who are fighting feel like their bodies have been ruthlessly impacted. Looking carefully, they discover that Qin Yun's arms have swelled a lot. There are many golden totem runes on the back of his hands. That is the Nether Sun totem. The power just now is also the power of sun and moonshine together. It has become even stronger through the heaven-trampling divine boots and the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation. Divine universe evil dragon's arm is slightly trembling. Although he blocked Qin Yun's saber attack, a very small dent has appeared on his purple gold divine universe sword. As for his arm, it felt like it was being shaken to the point where it was burning with pain. Qin Yun's sudden burst of power caused everyone to let out a low cry. Everyone here is very clear about the divine universe evil dragon's strength. Qin Yun is only a human and has not become a sacred, yet he can burst out with such power. Even the celestials in the sky are shocked. Qin Yun's second saber attack. It swept out. Divine universe evil dragon can't use his sword to block. He can only use his purple gold heavenly armor to release his strongest defense. Heaven Annihilation 9 form. Lightning burst. Lightning filled with heavenly might surged out along with the saber. It is like a surging flood. When the saber landed on divine universe evil dragon's body, a large amount of lightning burst out. Divine universe evil dragon let out an angry roar as his body was sent flying by the saber. If not for his purple gold heavenly armor, he might have already been severely injured. Divine universe evil dragon just stabilized his body and was about to counterattack, but Qin Yun had already leaped over. Boom! Another double supergravity force pressed down on divine universe evil dragon, making it difficult for him to move. As long as divine universe evil dragon is restricted from dodging, Qin Yun can hit him again and again. Qin Yun held the saber with both hands, and as he leaped over, he circulated his power and used the Heaven Annihilation 9 form. This saber strike is like a blazing sun. The momentum of the saber strike is like a blazing sun falling to the ground. Heaven Annihilation 9 form. Setting sun. The brilliant sun wild saber slashed down. It seems like it has the power to destroy the world. Boom. This time, Divine Universe Evil Dragon saw Qin Yun's saber strike, but he is unable to dodge. His body is struck. He can only circulate all the power in his body to block this saber strike. When the saber fell, a brilliant light shot out in all directions. Qin Yun and Divine Universe Evil Dragon are enveloped by a huge ball of light. Scorching heat waves roared and ravaged the ground. Just now, it was like a small sun had fallen to the ground, erupting with scorching energy waves. Roar! Divine Universe Evil Dragon let out a miserable and painful roar. A huge figure suddenly appeared. Divine Universe Evil Dragon reverted to his original form. A huge black dragon appeared in the sky. This huge dragon's body is covered in flames, and is riddled with scars. "Bastard, I'm going to eat you." Divine Universe Evil Dragon roared furiously, and his huge tail swept toward Qin Yun. Black, astral, baleful chi spewed from his mouth, and blood-colored lightning shot out from his eyes, enveloping Qin Yun's location. Boom, boom, boom. Divine Universe Evil Dragon, who had turned into human form, had been suppressed by Qin Yun just now and felt extremely aggrieved. After reverting to his original form, Divine Universe Evil Dragon is even stronger, but he has lost his agility. Qin Yun used the Light Transformation Sacred Pupil to dodge Divine Universe Evil Dragon's furious attack. Qin Yun is very strong, and he did not disappoint anyone. However, from the looks of it, he can only be evenly matched with Divine Universe Evil Dragon. Now that Divine Universe Evil Dragon has reverted to his original form, it will be even more difficult to take him down. They did not expect Qin Yun to be able to kill Divine Universe Evil Dragon. They only hoped that Qin Yun can suppress Divine Universe Evil Dragon again. After all, even the powerful Nine-Yang royal family and the Nine-Yang Palace King were unable to kill Divine Universe Evil Dragon back then, let alone now. Qin Yun's brows furrowed tightly as he looked at the huge black dragon that blotted out the sky. His expression was very solemn. An enlarged Divine Universe Evil Dragon is indeed very difficult to deal with. He thought of using the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron. However, he needs to cooperate with the Heavenly Lion Monarch. At this moment, the Heavenly Lion Monarch is still enveloped by that powerful net and floating in the air. Chapter 1981. The group of people with extremely high status in the sky looked at the battle below as if they were watching a show. A celestial shouted lazily, "Divine Cosmos, Evil Dragon, quickly eat the Heavenly Lion King. This will allow you to become stronger. Eat the Heavenly Lion King, and I'll bestow you a Heavenly Tao Divine Weapon. You'll be invincible." After hearing this, the Divine Cosmos Evil Dragon was extremely excited. It let out a loud bellow and charged toward the Heavenly Lion King. Everyone immediately became extremely nervous. Palace King Nine-Yang, hurry up and stop the Divine Universe Evil Dragon. Once he eats the Heavenly Lion King and obtains the Heavenly Law Divine Weapon, we will all die. Ling Tatian shouted in terror. Don't even think about succeeding. Princess Anya held onto the Nine-Yang Imperial Sword and dashed toward the Heavenly Lion King. Siekaru also chased after him. "You two bitches, get lost." The Devis in the sky roared coldly and waved their hands, sending out a wave of violet-red power that transformed into a huge violet-red hand. He waved his hand casually, but Princess Anya and Siekaru were sent flying. Qin Yun, who was charging over, was immediately infuriated. In order to make the Divine Cosmic Evil Dragon even stronger, the Devis in the sky sent everyone who tried to stop it flying. At this moment, everyone was in despair. The strength of the group of celestials in the sky was actually so powerful. Even Princess Anya, who possessed the Nine-Yang Emperor's sword, was no match for them. Those guys are sacred transformation stage experts. Immortal Desolate's sacred master shouted. Qin Yun also discovered it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be that powerful. However, celestial beings of the sacred transformation stage could not appear in the buried heavenland. But now, they were here, and they were still in control of the entire battle. Qin Yun executed the Light Transformation Sacred Pupil and charged toward the Heavenly Lion King. The huge net that encompassed the Heavenly Lion King was suddenly put away. The Divine Universe Evil Dragon had already opened its mouth and was holding the injured Heavenly Lion King in its mouth. "Palace King, avenge me!" The Heavenly Lion King bellowed furiously in despair. After Qin Yun rushed over, he shouted, "Your heart, return it to its original owner." Previously, he had redeemed the Heavenly Lion King's heart. Right now, he was tossed out and sent into the Heavenly Lion King's body. After the Heavenly Lion King's heart touched his body, it suddenly entered the Heavenly Lion King's huge body. The divine universe evil dragon sensed that something was amiss and immediately spat out the heavenly lion king. Damn bastard! Divine universe evil dragon roared. When the heavenly lion king fused with the heart, he would obtain the strongest divine beast powers. If it just so happened to enter the divine cosmic evil dragon's body, it would definitely explode. The heavenly lion king let out a furious bellow, and powerful divine light rippled from his body. Waves of boundless divine power surged out and tore through space. The frenzied heavenly lion king kept on releasing powerful divine powers, wanting to attack the divine cosmos evil dragon. However, its divine powers were restricted. The heavenly lion king, who had recovered his powerful powers, was sucked into the divine wilderness in an instant, leaving behind only a few words. Let's meet again in the divine wilderness. I wish you good luck. Although the heavenly lion king had left, everyone felt much more at ease. At the very least, the divine universe evil dragon had not eaten the heavenly lion king. Everyone was astonished that Qin Yun had the heavenly lion king's heart in his hands. The saber in Qin Yun's hand suddenly turned into a cannon barrel. The Nine Heavens Dragon Lion Cannon was aimed at the group of celestials in the sky. You bunch of hindrances, I don't want to see your stinky faces. As soon as the voice fell, the cannon barrel shook continuously, and explosions rang out continuously. 2-star cannonballs shot out and instantly exploded near the group of Heaven Realm people. Air waves exploded in the sky, and a large number of star fragments fell to the ground. After those scorching fragments landed on the ground, they were quickly devoured by the grassland. The Nine Heavens Dragon Lion Cannon is currently cooling down, and the group of saint-transforming Heaven Realm people are cursing in anger. If you have the guts, come down and fight, Qin Yun shouted. Saint-transforming Heaven Realm people did not come down. Clearly, there is a limit. They can only attack from time to time in the sky and cause trouble. The Heaven Realm people that can come down are not Sacred Transformation Realm people. Heaven Realm people who did not become Sacred Transformation Realm people would not be able to resist for long against Qin Yun and company. Divine Cosmos Evil Dragon, quickly kill him. A saint-transforming Heaven Realm person shouted angrily. Quickly bestow me the heavenly law divine weapon. Divine Cosmos Evil Dragon shouted. Your strength is not enough. You are unable to control the heavenly law divine weapon. You will kill yourself. That saint-transforming Heaven Realm person said anxiously. Quickly get rid of that guy. The reason why saint-transforming Heaven Realm person made the divine Cosmos Evil Dragon eat the heavenly Lion King was clearly because of this. He was unable to successfully eat the heavenly Lion King, so he was unable to obtain the heavenly law divine weapon. This made the divine Cosmos Evil Dragon extremely furious. The divine Cosmos Evil Dragon fiercely attacked Qin Yun. While Qin Yun is dealing with the divine Cosmos Evil Dragon, he is also secretly thinking, searching for an opportunity and a suitable angle to counterattack. At this moment, there are even more Heaven Realm people and heavenly armor guards participating in the battle. Although the group of saint-transforming Heaven Realm people in the sky were unable to descend, however, they did a lot of small tricks to help the warriors of the Purple Wing race and the other ancient races become stronger. Princess Anya's 9-yang Imperial Sword is very powerful. No matter what kind of heavenly armor, the purple gold heavenly armor was in front of the 9-yang Imperial Sword. It couldn't even block 2 strikes before it was pierced through or shattered. Those powerful Heaven Realm people all turned around and ran when they saw Princess Anya. If not for the group of saint-transforming Heaven Realm people in the sky interfering with Siek Kiru and Princess Anya from time to time, the Heaven Realm people and Purple Wing Race people fighting below would have been killed long ago. Xiao Yun, little heavenly lion, entered the heavenly lion dragon suppression cauldron and turned into the cauldron's soul. Ling Yun said, the heavenly Tao's ferocious power that you have cultivated has become even stronger after obtaining the heavenly eye. If little heavenly lion enters the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron. It can strengthen the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron. Hearing Ling Yun, Er's words, Qin Yun immediately took action. While dodging the Divine Universe Evil Dragon's attack, he took out the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron and released Little Heavenly Lion into the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron. Little Heavenly Lion is a heavenly Tao power that Qin Yun cultivated. Furthermore, because of the Nether Sun, it possesses a portion of the Nether Sun totem. After Little Heavenly Lion entered the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron, the entire Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron suddenly shook and let out a lion roar. The black Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron suddenly shone with intense golden light. The entire cauldron has undergone a great change. The mouth of the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron was originally circular, but now the mouth of the cauldron has turned into a huge lion's mouth. At this moment, the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron looks like a golden, flaming heavenly lion that is as large as a mountain. It is squatting on the ground, raising its head and roaring at the sky. The open mouth is the mouth of the cauldron. Boom! After the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron appeared, it suddenly fell down and smashed onto the Divine Universe Evil Dragon's body. Qin Yun's eyes are currently filled with purple-red lightning. Berserk heavenly might and fury surged out from his eyes. The floating cloud staff in his hand has already turned into a large saber. Moreover, it is overflowing with Divine Universe purple energy. Qin Yun, who is using the Heavenly Eye, can release the Divine Universe purple energy within his body. He has absorbed a lot of Divine Universe purple energy, and with the Heavenly Eye, his Divine Universe purple energy is even stronger than when others use it. Seeing the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron appear and change its appearance, the people who are fighting are all shocked again and again. The pupils of the group of sacred transformation heavenly beings in the sky immediately shrank. Their faces are filled with shock, because the might that Qin Yun has erupted with caused them to feel an indescribable fear. They can't see that Qin Yun has the Heavenly Eye. They can only see that Qin Yun is releasing a very strong Divine Universe purple energy. The Divine Universe Evil Dragon is being suppressed by the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron, and the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron has the Nether Sun totem. The Nether Sun power within Qin Yun's body can be transmitted to the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron through space. Qin Yun and Ling Yun, Er's Nether Sun released waves of supergravity that poured into the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron, causing the entire cauldron to become incomparably heavy. The pressure caused the Divine Universe Evil Dragon to struggle and roar in anger. Divine Cosmos Evil Dragon, I will end you today. Qin Yun's eyes are filled with purple-red lightning. The floating cloud staff has transformed into a purple-red saber, and the heavenly might is unleashed. In front of that might, all the living beings on the battlefield are filled with fear. It is as if they are facing a powerful and illusory heavenly Tao. This kind of heavenly might is terrifying to the extreme. It is as if the heavenly Tao is angry and destroying the world. At this moment, everyone is looking at Qin Yun. The Divine Cosmos Evil Dragon is constantly roaring. That loud roar is filled with despair. Qin Yun rushed over and raised his saber high. All the power in his body surged out at this moment. At the same time, heaven and earth trembled. The saber slashed down, and the berserk heavenly might surged out in all directions. Heavenly Annihilation 9 Styles, Heavenly Madness. As the saber descended, it emitted a boundless aura that landed on the Divine Cosmos Evil Dragon's neck. Rumble. Whoosh whoosh. The power shook the heavens and the earth. The whistling sound was filled with ferocious heavenly might. The Divine Cosmos Evil Dragon let out a deep roar of despair. Its head was actually chopped off. This heavenly might enveloped the entire battlefield. At this moment, the battle came to an abrupt end. Everyone who was fighting felt a sense of impending death, as if they were about to be destroyed by the heavenly Tao. At the same time of fear, their hearts also received an intense impact. They felt incomparably shocked. The divine cosmos evil dragon's head had actually been chopped off. Roar! The heavenly lion dragon suppression cauldron roared and swallowed the entire head. As for the huge dragon body, after struggling a few times, it finally stopped moving. The world suddenly became incomparably quiet. All sorts of living beings are dumbstruck as they looked at Qin Yun, who was beside the huge dragon body. With a wave of his hand, Qin Yun kept the huge dragon body into the nine-yang divine spirit. His eyes are still flashing with purplish-red lightning as the heavenly might burst out. You, the group of sacred transformation, heavenly beings in the sky, also felt a chill run down their spines. They shouted loudly, "The divine cosmos evil dragon was born from the heavenly Tao, and we are the incarnations of the heavenly Tao. You actually dare to trample on the heavenly Tao in front of us." Qin Yun suddenly raised his head and looked at the group of heavenly beings. He said coldly, "You are just a bunch of heavenly slaves. You dare claim to be the incarnation of the heavenly Tao? You truly don't know the meaning of death." As he spoke, his body was like a bolt of purplish-red lightning as he charged towards the group of sacred transformation heavenly beings in the sky. The group of sacred transformation heavenly beings were completely fine after suffering 2 cannons. It could be seen that they were still very strong, but the current Qin Yun was even stronger. There were dozens of sacred transformation heavenly beings. When they saw Qin Yun's purplish-red eyes at close range, they immediately cried out in shock. That was the heavenly eye. They recognized it as the heavenly eye. The heavenly eye was actually on a human's body. Previously, they had felt it was strange that the heavenly eye would suddenly disappear. Now that they saw Qin Yun's heavenly eye, they knew that it had been obtained by Qin Yun. Return your power to the heavenly Tao. As soon as Qin Yun finished speaking, his body trembled as a vast and mighty heavenly might surged forth like a tide. Many supergravity forces came from all directions. Chapter 1982. The heavenly man claimed that they were the incarnations of the heavenly Tao, but at this moment, they were easily killed by Qin Yun. The incarnation of the heavenly Tao was actually so weak. Everyone looked at the group of saint-transforming heaven men in the sky being crushed and turned into flames. They could not help but feel fear in their hearts, because they suddenly felt that Qin Yun was more like the incarnation of the heavenly Tao. Whether it was the various powerful weapons that Qin Yun had mastered or the powerful strength that he had displayed, they were all extremely effective in restraining those heaven men. For example, the heavenly armor on the heaven man's body was restrained by the sacred talisman weapon forged by Qin Yun. Just now, Qin Yun had even displayed his powerful might. It was comparable to the might of the heavens, causing people to feel that the wrath of the heavenly Tao was nothing more than this. On the ground, there was a large group of heaven men. They knew very well what the berserk might from Qin Yun's body meant. That was the true might of the heavenly Tao. The heavenly man and the heavenly armor guards, with the help of all kinds of equipment and the heavenly energy within their bodies, were unable to release such a powerful heavenly might. They could not understand why Qin Yun, an enemy of the heavenly Tao, could grasp such a powerful might of the heavenly Tao. Qin Yun had just obtained the heavenly eye, but he had already used it twice in a row. If it wasn't because he had no other choice, he didn't want to use the hidden power of the heavenly eye, because he was worried that he would lose himself in this powerful power and suffer a backlash. The divine universe evil dragon was captured by Qin Yun, and the group of powerful sacred transformation heaven men were all killed. The remaining heaven men, heavenly armor guards, as well as the Purple Wing clan and other powerful ancient races, immediately had low morale. Without needing to face the threat of the divine universe evil dragon, and no longer needing to worry about the interference of the sacred heaven man in the sky, the many powers led by Heaven City were able to attack smoothly. The people of the heavenly law divine realm were being chased and annihilated by the forces led by the undead army in Heaven City. Qin Yun floated in the air, his eyes gradually becoming clear and bright. Although the buried Heavenland had experienced a great battle, it was not damaged at all. The grassland returned to its original state. The energy within the bodies of the living beings who had died in the great battle had all seeped into the grassland. Their corpses sank bit by bit into this mysterious land. The undead army roared as they chased after the group of fleeing ancient races, as well as the Heaven Man and the heavenly armor guards. Is it over? The immortal desolate sacred master came to Qin Yun's side. He was not surprised to learn that Qin Yun was the Nine-Yang Palace King. The Nine-Yang Palace King had once created the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. The sacred master of Immortal Desolate did not know about this at first. He only found out about this matter in Heaven Creation City. It's over. However, some things have just begun. Qin Yun said. What just started? Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor asked. Is the matter here not over yet? Qin Yun said with a smile. The opening of the Heavenly Dao pawn shop means that even more people will be sealed here. Maybe after many years, a great war will break out here again. The Heavenly Law pawn shop had been closed for many years. After Yin Long took over, he would start a new war. Pawn shop. Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor did not know about the Heaven Dao pawn shop. The Heavenly Law pawn shop is going to open. When Qin Long heard about this, he immediately flew over. His injuries were not light, but in order to understand the situation, he did not treat his injuries. It sounded like a pawn shop, but Qin Yun knew very well that the pawn shop was the crux of how the Heavenly Dao affected the various worlds under it. Perhaps it was a door that the ruthless Heavenly Dao had opened to all the realms. This door could release treasures, but it could also release disasters and wars. It was used to balance the many forces under the Heavenly Dao. I wonder what will happen after the Heavenly Law pawn shop opens. Qin Yun said. He already pawned it once in exchange for a talisman that could open the seal on Yang Di's inscription spirit. Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor said, It is time for us to return to the Immortal Desolate. The Outer Heaven Domain and the Dark Royal Race will definitely take advantage of our absence to stir up trouble. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master looked at Siekiru. He seems to know that Siekiru is the moon god. Qin Yun once said that he would help restore the moon god's divine position. Then how do we return to the Immortal Desolate? Heartless Immortal Venerable looked at Qin Yun and said with smile, Sect Master Qin, do you have a way? Qin Yun stored the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppressing Cauldron and said, I don't have a way for now, but it definitely won't be a problem. Siekiru flew over and said, Our Guanghan Palace has a way. The Mother Moon hanging in the sky looks very powerful. Others don't know about it, but Qin Yun does. Emperor Race, Immortal Desolate Dragon Race, Nether Sect, Inscription Aristocrat Clan, and many other powers from the Immortal Desolate have also found something suitable for them in the Buried Heavenland. They entered the Buried Heavenland and broke through many large tombs. The treasures they obtained benefited them greatly, and they are all very satisfied. Now, they only want to quickly return to the Immortal Desolate, because they still need some time to become saints. Before that, they have to take care of all kinds of matters in the Immortal Desolate. Before they left the Immortal Desolate, they had a conflict with the Outer Heaven Domain and the Dark Royal Race. In this operation, the Dark Royal Race and the Outer Heaven Domain did not participate, mainly because these two evil powers were defeated in the Evil Dragon Cities War. Now, these two evil powers have already returned to the Immortal Desolate. Then when can we return to the Immortal Desolate? Scarlet Sun Dragon Mother asked. She is also very worried about the situation in the Immortal Desolate. We can return immediately. Siekiru lightly smiled. Grandma Qiyang, is there anything else you need to do here? Long Yuqing is in the Divine Inscription Mountain. Scarlet Sun Dragon Mother also knows about it. And their Immortal Desolate Dragon Race, after breaking through a tomb city, found the inheritance of the dragon race from back then, as well as many treasures related to the dragon race. It is extremely important to them. There's nothing else, Let's go back immediately. Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor said, "Those bastards from the outer heaven domain and the dark royal race must have done a lot of things in the Immortal Desolate." Heartless Immortal Venerable chuckled and said, "We grew up a lot in the Cloud Dragon Mountain Range. After we return, we'll make them look good." Just now, Princess Anya flew back to Heaven Creation City. She still has things to do there. She now has many identities. She is the Dark Royal Race's Princess Anya, the Palace Master of the Heaven Creation God Palace, the Nine-Sun Royal Race's Moon, She Clan Emperor, and also the Nine-Sun Divine Maiden. Princess Anya returned to Heaven Creation City to pass down the position of Palace Master of the Heaven Creation God Palace. After Qin Yin saw her fly away from Heaven Creation City, she brought a few women and flew towards the Mother Moon in the sky. Those women are the ones she wanted to bring to the Immortal Desolate. They are her approved disciples. The huge Mother Moon in the sky suddenly began to slowly revolve. Suddenly, a huge spatial crack appeared in the sky. Tyrannical spatial power gushed out from the crack. Seeing the huge crack being torn open, Ling Tian Clan's clan elder Ling Tatian shouted, "We also want to go to the Immortal Desolate, can we?" "Of course you can, but you must abide by the rules of the Immortal Desolate." Immortal Desolate Sacred Master said, "I am the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master, the ruler of the Immortal Desolate." If it was in the past, he wouldn't have dared to say such words. But now is different. He has Qin Yin to support him from behind. "Don't worry," Ling Tatian said. "Although Ling Tian City is huge, it can still pass through the spatial crack." Soon after, Heaven Suppressing Sect and Heaven Creation City expressed that they would head to the Immortal Desolate and promised the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master that they would abide by the rules of the Immortal Desolate. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master also won very straightforwardly. He suddenly felt that in these few epochs, this is the first time he looked like a real Immortal Desolate Sacred Master. It's good to have a backer. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master sighed in his heart. The ancient ox devil led the experts of the ancient heaven race to the Immortal Desolate. Heaven Creation City and Ling Tian City flew through the huge spatial crack in the sky and flew into the Immortal Desolate. Finally, everyone flew into the spatial crack one after another. Not long after, everyone who could leave left. Qin Yun and Xie Karu are still in the buried Heavenland. The Mother Moon in the sky slowly rotated, and the spatial crack became much smaller. Sister Karu, Immortal Desolate Sacred Master, can repair your damaged god position. Qin Yun said, "If you fuse with the 8 souls and 9 spirits, you would also know how to repair it." Xie Karu held Qin Yun's hand and said with light smile, "Let's go." Qin Yun looked at the buried Heavenland, then looked at the undead army in the distance, and said with sigh, "The Nine-Sun royal family can no longer rise again. However, the Nine-Sun royal family's bloodline has been passed down. Moreover, it is very strong. Shaoxi will become even stronger." Xie said, "At most, Princess and Yi can only let people know that the Nine-Sun royal family once existed. It is impossible to create a powerful Nine-Sun royal family army to fight 3,000 heavenly domains." A white cloud suddenly flew over. Cloud Dragon has arrived. "Senior Cloud Dragon, I will leave immediately. I am waiting for you to appear and say goodbye to you," Qin Yun said with smile. Cloud Dragon laughed loudly and said, "You will say goodbye to me? Brat, how can you be so kind-hearted? Tell me, you waited for me. What's the matter?" Although the Cloud Dragon Mountain Range has become the Cloud Dragon Realm, it used to be the Sun Holy Land. What exactly is hidden in the Cloud Dragon Mountain Range? Qin Yun asked. Cloud Dragon said, "There is no harm in telling you now. In the Cloud Dragon Mountain Range, there is a passage that leads to the Nine Nether Realm. I have been to the Nine Nether Realm, but it is just like that," Qin Yun said with frown. No, no, no. The Nine Nether Realm is very big. It can accommodate all the departed spirits under the heavenly Tao. It is not just the Nine-Sun heavenly domain. Countless other heavenly domains living beings died, and the departed spirits gathered in the Nine Nether Realm. The mysterious passage in the Cloud Dragon Mountain Range leads to the core of the Nine Netherrealm. What is so special about that place? Qin Yun asked. Xia Wufeng and Netherworld Great Emperor know about that passage. I don't know, that passage is closed. Yun Long sighed. I originally wanted to go and find out. Really closed? When did it happen? Qin Yun promptly asked. When the heavenly eye appeared, it suddenly closed. Why are you so anxious about this matter? Cloud Dragon said. It's nothing. Qin Yun is very worried about Netherworld Great Emperor and Xia Wufeng. Heavenly Dao Pawn Shop has successfully opened. We will meet again. Let's quickly return to Immortal Desolate. That place is a complete mess. Cloud Dragon said. Chapter 1983. So many things have happened in the Immortal Desolate during this period of time. Qin Yun said with frown. Senior Yun Long, is the situation in the Immortal Desolate stable? Yun Long looked at the sky and said, the Nine-Sun Heavenly Domain is close to Nirvana. Before that, it is not strange for anything to happen. Before the Nine-Sun Nirvana rebirth, they will do their best to make the creatures of the Nine-Sun Heavenly Domain stronger. Therefore, you don't have to worry about those guys from the Outer Heaven Domain. The creatures of the Nine-Sun Heavenly Domain are not as weak as they think. Really? The Outer Heaven Domain Alliance Army and the variant dragon race that appeared before were all very strong. We almost couldn't stop them. Qin Yun said. That's what you humans think. The beast races in the Immortal Desolate have always been very low-key. If you humans are no match for the Outer Heaven Domain, those beasts will naturally replace you. Yun Long said with smile. Therefore, you should peacefully coexist with those beasts. Most of the resources from the sun's descent are given to the inscription beasts. Inscription beasts can influence other beasts. Most of those powerful inscription beasts hide in the sacred grounds of the Immortal Desolate. Those sacred grounds have gathered many powerful beasts. They are absorbing the power of the Sun Divine Stone and growing very quickly. Siekaru said. At this stage, the Nine Suns intentionally give resources to the beasts so that they can quickly become stronger and resist the enemies from the Outer Heaven Domain. Indeed, because beasts are different from humans. Beasts grow very quickly, and beasts have a unique way of evolution. After evolution, they can adapt to the environment more. Yun Long said, in comparison, in the process of evolution, humans have not improved enough. Siekaru pulled Qin Yun and said, Xiao Yun, let's go back to the Mother Moon. Qin Yun nodded and said to Yun Long, Senior, if the passage to the Nine Nether Realm opens again, you must contact me. All right. Yun Long nodded. Siekaru tightly held Qin Yun's hand. She can sense the Mother Moon and let it release its power to teleport them inside. After the slowly rotating Mother Moon received Siekaru and Qin Yun, it suddenly started rotating very quickly and flickered with intense silver light. Ho! After a gust of wind hit the ground, the Mother Moon disappeared. The huge spatial crack in the sky also disappeared. Yun Long saw the Mother Moon disappear and let out a long sigh. I wonder how far the enemy of the Heavenly Tao can go. I'm really worried that he won't live to see the sacred wasteland. Suddenly, a black gas floated over. The black gas gathered together and turned into an old man wearing a black robe. The black-robed old man looked at the remnant silver light in the sky and said, how could he not live until the sacred desolate? He will definitely be able to go further in this life. Netherworld Great Emperor, why didn't you tell him about the Nine Netherrealm? He is very worried about you. Yin Long said, Xiao Xie is in trouble. It's all my fault. I want to rescue little Xie by myself. I don't want Xiao Fuyin to know about this. Netherworld Great Emperor said, Little Xie? Xie Wufeng? Yun Long was shocked. I remember, I once helped him obtain the inheritance of the Sword God. He should be very strong. How did something happen? Netherworld Great Emperor sighed and said, what happened to him in the Nine Nether Realm is my fault. Yin Long was even more shocked and said, Netherworld Great Emperor, you are the overlord of the Nine Underworld Realm, but you can't even protect one person. Overlord? That was all in the past. Netherworld Great Emperor let out a long sigh. No one in the Nine Nether Realm recognizes me, and my strength is far from what it was in the past. How's that child Xiaoxia? Is it a big problem? Yin Long asked. It's hard to say. I came to you to pawn my soul so that I can quickly become stronger and save Xiaoxia. Netherworld Great Emperor said. We can't let Xiao Fuyu know about this. Otherwise he will disregard everything and go to the Nine Nether Realm. Yin Long said, All right, what do you plan to pawn this time? Pawn my soul. Only that broken soul of mine is of value. Netherworld Great Emperor said, There is nothing wrong with pawning your soul. I became a shopkeeper because I pawned my soul. Yin Long said with mischievous smile, There is nothing wrong with working under heavenly Tao. But in the end, you are someone else's subordinate. Netherworld Great Emperor helplessly sighed and said, The Mother Moon suddenly appeared in the sky of Immortal Desolate. It caused no small commotion. The sky of Immortal Desolate is now dark. The huge Mother Moon is side by side with the moon of Immortal Desolate. They are actually the same size. The reason why the moon of Immortal Desolate has become a lot bigger is because a barrier has appeared, enveloping the real moon. Qingyun is inside the core of the Mother Moon. What caused him to be amazed is that there is a very beautiful palace inside the Mother Moon. Qingyun is inside the palace. Xiao Yuelon and the others are also here. Xiao Yun, I want to fuse with my body. I want to go into seclusion, Xieqiru said. I also want to find a time to fuse with my 8 spiritual and 9 physical souls. Qingyun nodded. You need to be very careful about the matter of 8 spiritual and 9 physical souls, because during the process of fusing, many situations can occur, Xieqiru said. Qingyun also knows that, after all, the process of fusing with the memories of several lifetimes is very long. They will also experience all kinds of emotional impact. Little husband, I am actually 9-sun divine maiden. I never knew it. Xiao Yuelon pulled Qingyun's hand and smiled coquettishly. Yu Shaoling, the sun fairy, is also at the side. She kissed Xiao Yuelon and said with a charming smile, No wonder I fell in love with you at first sight. Oomph, you even stole my man back then. Xiao Yuelon tenderly snorted, then giggled and pulled Qingyun towards a room. Yang sure you saw the couple leave, shook her head and said with a smile, 9-sun divine maiden's mission is truly not ordinary. After coming to the Mother Moon, we finally understood our mission. Lu Yu Shuyin sighed and said, It seems to be very difficult to accomplish. Xiao Yuemei is currently eating fruit. Hearing Lu Yu Shuyin's words, she immediately frowned and said, Big sister master, don't say any more. Whenever you talk about that mission, my mood becomes very bad. Then eat a bit more and quickly forget about it. Lu Yu Shuyin smiled gently and walked over to caress Xiao Yuemei's face. Princess Anya's face is filled with joy. She said with smile, My mission has already been completed. I am the fusion of 2 9-sun divine maidens. Our mission took a very long time to complete. Now it is really easy. Xiaoxi, you're bad. Lu Yu Shuyin walked over and said with hidden bitterness, Don't worry. As someone who has been through this and I don't have any mission, I will help you. After all, we are all good sisters. Princess Anya smiled and said, All right, I want to go see Bing Xing. I want to see this sister who looks exactly like me. Xiao Xianqin said with smile, Let Bing Xing and Yu come over. They still haven't awakened their divine maiden mission. Let them come to the Mother Moon to awaken. At that time, we will have 2 more sisters to complain with us. Lu Yu Shuyin faintly sighed and then said with smile, This is great. We have 2 more difficult sisters. Qingyun and Xiao Yuelon are in the room sweetly. The young couple are very loving and sweet-talking each other, saying all kinds of words of love and flirting from time to time. Yuelon, after you became the 9-sun divine maiden, is there anything different? Qingyun asked. I should be the one asking you. Did you notice anything different about me? Xiao Yuelon said with a smile and hammered Qingyun's chest. Qingyun kissed Xiao Yuelon's beautiful red lips and said with smile, You're even more beautiful. Moreover, your skin is even smoother. Nonsense. Xiao Yuelon scolded with a smile, but her heart is sweet. Qin Yun hugged Xiao Yuelon and hugged the charming and peerless beauty tightly. The two of them hugged each other sweetly, feeling each other's heartbeat. After the matter of buried heavenland, they finally solved the mystery that had been hidden in their hearts for many years. Yuelon, after I fuse with the 8 spirits and 9 spirits, I might become another person. I'm worried that I won't be me anymore. Qin Yun gently caressed Xiao Yuelon's jade-like back and sighed with complicated feelings. Little husband, don't worry and fuse. No matter what, that is the only way to find yourself. Otherwise, you will live an unclear life. Xiao Yuelon pressed her face against Qin Yun's chest and said softly, no matter what, you will always be the Xiao Yun in our hearts. We will always love you. Yuelon, how do you feel after knowing that you are the 9-Sun Divine Maiden? Qin Yun is very curious about this matter. We all awakened in the same place. The strange thing is that we all feel that we lost a part of our memories. Xiao Yuelon said with frown, our 9 spirits and 9 spirits are complete. Why did we lose our memories? Then, do you feel your mission? Asked Qin Yun. Of course we felt it. Xiao Yuemei lightly sighed. It is very difficult to accomplish mission. Sisters are very sad because of this. Only Xiao, she completed it and even showed off in front of us. I really want to hit her. Qin Yun speechlessly smiled, pinched Xiao Yuelon's jade waist, and said with smile, is she the Moonshi clan's empress now? Or Heaven Creation Palace Master? Or Princess Anya? All of them. She is my little sister, Xiao Shi. Xiao Yuelon said with charming smile. She is the youngest among the 9-Sun Divine Maidens. What? She is the youngest? Qin Yun is extremely shocked. Because Yushi's mission back then was to help the 9-Sun royal family become stronger. It could be said that she appeared in the 9-Sun royal family at that time. And now Xiao Yuelon and others know what their mission is, and they're all Yushi's big sisters. Xiao Yuelon flipped to Qin Yun's other side and said with smile, I will tell you about the ranking of the 9-Sun Divine Maidens. All right. Sister Kiru asked me to guess who Big Sister is, but I didn't get it right no matter how many times I tried. Qin Yun kissed Xiao Yuelon's forehead and said with smile, my little wife is the best. You are willing to tell me who Big Sister is. If I didn't awaken my memories regarding the 9-Sun Divine Maidens, I wouldn't have been able to guess who Big Sister is. Xiao Yuelon stuck out her fragrant tongue and said with charming smile, I really didn't expect it. Chapter 1984. Qin Yun said, I thought Heaven Creation Palace Master had no name. Turns out she's called Yu Tian. Who came up with these names? Mu Yu started it. Xiao Yuelon pinched Qin Yun's face and said angrily, don't interrupt, listen to me. All right, it's time to rank 7. Qin Yun smiled and pinched Xiao Yuelon's thigh, causing her to chuckle a few times. Xiao Yuelon continued, Sister Kiru's name is Yuero, ranked 7th. Siekaru is actually the 7th sister. Among the 9-Sun Divine Maidens, she is the youngest. This caused Qin Yun to be very surprised. He previously thought that Siekaru was the eldest sister. Xiao Yuelon saw Qin Yun's shocked expression and said with smile, I am also very shocked. I thought Sister Kiru was the big sister. Then she continued to talk about the ranking. Sister Bingxing is called Yu Bing, ranked 6th. Sister Yang is called Yu Ji, ranked 5th. 4th is Sister Yu Yu. 3rd is Sister Master, your sister Shuyan. Her original name is Yu Yao. At this moment, Qin Yun's eyes are already wide open. He looked at Xiao Yuelon and shouted, Yuelon, you are big sister? Yang Shuriwei is 5th, Yu Yu is 4th, and Lu Yu Shuyan is 3rd. Then the remaining 2nd and 1st are Xiao Yuemei and Xiao Yuelon. Qin Yun never expected this. Xiao Yuemei and Xiao Yuelon are the youngest among the 9 women. Especially that wild girl Xiao Yuemei, she is actually so close to the front. Xiao Yuelon stuck out her tongue, slightly curled her lips, and said, You guessed wrong. The first is that little girl Yuemei. She is the big sister. Qin Yun was completely dumbfounded. He was actually wrong again. Because Xiao Yuelon was Xiao Yuemei's elder sister, he subconsciously believed that Xiao Yuemei was Xiao Yuemei's elder sister. Xiao Yuelon is ranked 1st. Yueme is actually big sister. Qin Yun began to doubt life and said, what is the basis of this ranking? I clearly felt that. Sister Kiru or Sister Yang should be the big sister. We think so too, but Yueme is big sister. Xiao Yuelon said, my original name is Yuelon. Big sister is Yueme. Qin Yun said, in my previous life in the Guanghan Palace, you were called Yuelon and Yueme was also Yueme. Big sister Yang's name is Yuji, which is her 9 sons' divine maiden name. Big sister Shuyin's name is Fang Yueyao. And big sister Yu, your names match your original names. Who came up with them? Sister Kiru gave us this name. Xiao Yuelon said with smile. Although I'm second sister, she will always be my sister Kiru. Although Yueme is 9 son divine maiden's big sister, she will always be my little sister. Qin Yun said with deep emotion. So Sister Kiru had a lot of memories from the beginning. Yes, she was the one who gathered most of our sisters in the Moon Palace. Xiao Yuelon drew small circles on Qin Yun's chest and said with charming smile, then we met you. This is not a coincidence. It was all secretly arranged by Sister Kiru. Wait a minute. The youngest 9th sister Yu Shi, 8th sister Heaven Creation Palace Master Yu Tian, 7th sister Kiru. These 3 youngest sisters have already completed Goddess Mission, right? And you older sisters have just completed Goddess Mission. Qin Yun said. Indeed, but we were born earlier than them. Xiao Yuelon said. It's just I don't know what we experienced. Qin Yun said. Then did I have any dealings with all of you? I met Princess Anya and even pawned her 8 spiritual and 8 physical souls. Xiao Yuelon said with smile. I heard about this matter from her. When she told us about this matter, she wished that she could ruthlessly bite your flesh. I told her to be at ease and bite you. If she didn't vent her hatred, I would have pulled my sisters to help me bite you. Yuelon, you have changed. Not only did you not help little husband, you even brought your sisters to bully me. Qin Yun pinched her cheeks and pretended to be very sad. Little husband, did Xiaoxi kiss you? She looks very arrogant, very pure as ice, and as clean as jade. Xiao Yuelon said with charming smile. She did. Qin Yun also brought up the matter of cultivating Sun Heart. Xiao Yuelon touched Qin Yun's heart and said with smile, I am jealous. Your heart was cultivated by Xiaoxi. Will it be only her without me? How could that be? Qin Yun kissed Xiao Yuelon and said, you will always be the Xiao Yuelon I will protect. Xiao Yuelon's heart immediately warmed up. Her face is filled with sweet and charming smile. She very clingy leaned on Qin Yun and said in low voice, little husband, we 9 son divine maiden don't know why we were born. We all have our own mission that is very difficult to accomplish. Apart from this, we also have a common mission. Common mission? Is it very difficult to accomplish? Qin Yun asked. It is very difficult to accomplish. It is to protect you. Xiao Yuelon said with stern expression. Protect me? Qin Yun said with frown. It's more like me protecting you. You have helped me so much. It's not like that. Xiao Yuelon shook her head and said, I still don't know what is going on. Maybe only Sister Kiru knows, but she won't say anything. Qin Yun said, could it be that your birth is related to me? Xiao Yuelon nodded and said, Xiaoxi said that after she completed the mission of helping 9 son royal family conquer 3,000 heavenly domains, she had a new mission. That is to find a person and then protect him. Qin Yun is startled. Princess Anya used a secret method to detect the person she was looking for. Qin Yun casually tested and found out that he was the person Princess Anya was looking for. Both he and Princess Anya felt that it was too much of a coincidence. They tried again and found out that he was indeed the person Princess Anya was looking for. At that time, Qin Yun thought that Princess Anya was looking for his enemy, so he was scared half to death. He was afraid that Princess Anya would hack him to death. Xiaoxi told us that she found that person. It is you. Xiao Yuelon said to this point and laughed. She pinched Qin Yun's nose and said with smile. Xiaoxi also said that you thought she was looking for you for revenge, but you were so scared that you covered your head and fled like a rat. Did you do a lot of shameful things? Of course not. Qin Yun groaned and said with smile. This ninth sister of yours is really something. I asked her why she was looking for me, but she didn't say it directly. She even said that her memory is not complete, so she knew why she was looking for me. If I were her, I would also not say it. Xiao Yuelon said with smile. Back then, you and she were in conflict. She suddenly said that she was looking for you to protect you. She herself could not accept it. Qin Yun said with smile. That's true. Back then she also had a face full of doubt about life. Back then, Qin Yun learned from Peng Hantao of the ancient era aristocratic family Peng family that the nine-son divine maiden who helped the nine-son royal family become stronger finally when a fine man. Qin Yun told this matter to Xiao Yuelon. Looking for a man, looking for many years. Xiao Yuelon giggled and said, It seems like she found him. Moreover, many things happened between you two. Qin Yun said, I was the nine-son palace king back then. Later I died and reincarnated. She also died and reincarnated. Then she subconsciously looked for me. She must have looked for me for a very long time. Xiao Yuelon sighed with emotion. She nodded and said, Xiao, she lost her 8 souls and 8 spirits in the nine-son era. It was you who pawned them. Therefore, after she reincarnated, her memories were incomplete, but she knew that she had to find someone to protect her. The nine-son emperor saw the nine-son royal family was pawned by Yushi. Qin Yun said, Something very complicated must have happened back then. Xiao Yuelon said with smile, Little husband, we can only wait until you fuse with the 8 souls and 9 spirits. Then we can understand more clearly. If Princess Anya fuses with the 8 souls and 8 spirits, she can also understand more clearly. Qin Yun said, It is time for us to go to Sacred Desolate. It is not a problem for us to go to Sacred Desolate, but you, Xiao Yuelon said, What about me? I will soon become a sacred saint, and then enter Sacred Desolate. Qin Yun pinched Xiao Yuelon's face and said with smile, Don't think that you can look down on your little husband just because he is someone you want to protect. I am very strong. You don't have sacred veins. It will be very difficult for you to become a sacred saint. Xiao Yuelon said, But we are different. We are at the core of the moon in the Guanghan Palace. Through the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra, we can cultivate sacred veins. We can quickly become sacred saints and then go to Sacred Desolate. Regarding cultivating sacred veins, Qin Yun indeed has no clue at all. This is also the key to becoming a sacred saint. Qin Yun said, Don't worry, it is not difficult for me. There is nothing that can stump your little husband. Your little husband is omnipotent. Sister Rujing is inside your nine-son divine soul, right? Don't let her come out, hee. Xiao Yuelon said with a naughty smile. I won't use her to cultivate sacred veins. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, I want to rely on myself. All right, it's up to you. Xiao Yuelon said with smile. Hypocrite. Sister Rujing told me many things about you and her. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, This ice mother tigress is truly something. Not only does she bite people, she also talks nonsense. Don't talk about her like that. Xiao Yuelon vigorously pinched Qin Yun's waist and said with angry smile, She is very good. She often accompanies me to cultivate. Really? I can't tell. Qin Yun said in amazement. Previously, I cultivated a type of cultivation technique that caused my body to emit fire. It was very, very hot. Sister Bingxing was unable to help me cool down. In the end, she joined in and helped me cool down. I cultivated with her for a period of time. Xiao Yuelon's smile is charming and alluring. She said, Don't look at how cold she is. Her body is very soft. At this moment, someone knocked on the door. Yuelon, little husband, what are you doing inside? The one who asked is Yu Shaoling. We are sleeping. Xiao Yuelon shouted. I want to sleep with you. Yu Shaoling said with smile. I broke the door and went in. All right. Xiao Yuelon said with charming smile. Not good. Qin Yun immediately got up and quickly tidied up his clothes. Qin Yun came to the living room outside and saw Xiao Yuemei holding a piece of roasted meat in her hand. She laughed loudly and said, Sister Bingxing, I am big sister. I am big sister. Rest assured, as the big sister of 9 Sun Divine Maiden, I will definitely take good care of you little sisters. Qinyan finally knows why Xiao Yueme likes to be big sister so much. It is because deep in her soul, she remembers that she is the big sister of 9 Sun Divine Maiden. Seeing Qinyan come out, Xiao Yueme laughed loudly and said, "Brother, I am big sister. I'm the big sister of 9 Sun Divine Maiden. Do you know that?" Seeing Xiao Yueme acting like this, her little sisters cannot help but laugh. Even Bingxing and Princess Anya revealed sweet and charming smiles. Bingxing and Princess Anya are sitting together. They look exactly the same. Even their temperament is very similar. Chapter 1985. Xiao Yueme used her oily hand to push away Qinyan's hand that is pinching her face. She said with charming smile, "I won't go back for now. We 9 Sun Divine Maiden are discussing important matters here. How can I, the big sister, be absent? I have to take charge of the overall situation." This caused all the women to laugh again. They suddenly feel that Xiao Yueme is their big sister. It is very interesting. Qinyan rubbed Xiao Yueme's face with both hands and said with smile, "Then I will go back myself. You are the big sister. You should let your little sisters worry a bit." "What are you talking about? I am the big sister of 9 Sun Divine Maiden. I do things calmly and calmly. With my calm and steady character, how can I give trouble to my little sisters?" Xiao Yueme is very unconvinced. She spoke with a very domineering voice and then took a bite of the roasted meat in her hand. This kind of appearance looks very strange and even more adorable. Although Xiao Yueme is very old, she still has the appearance of a young girl. Coupled with her charming and pleasant face, no matter how you look at it, she does not have the demeanor of a big sister. "Big sister, this man bullied me. Help me beat him up," Princess Anya suddenly said. "Brother, how did you bully little sister Xiao Shi? Quickly apologize to her." Xiao Yueme's eyebrows are knitted as she said in low voice, "Brother, cooperate with me a bit. Give me some face. I am now the big sister." This caused everyone to laugh again. Qinyan walked towards Princess Anya and said, "Divine Maiden Yushi, little brother Qinyan offended you before. Please forgive me." "Xiao Shi, didn't you say you wanted to bite him? Quickly go and bite him." Yu teased and said with charming smile, "Xiao Shi, you already bit him, right? Did you bite his lips or his tongue?" Xiao Yuelon giggled and said, "I think you bit both, right?" Lu Yu Shuyan, who is still wearing a mask, giggled and said, "Good bite." Qinyan looked at Bingxing beside Princess Anya. These two people look exactly the same. They both like to bite his tongue. And now, their expressions are equally ice-cold. "Yuelon, I will bite you to death first. Then I will bite your little husband." Princess Anya suddenly pounced on Xiao Yuelon and pressed her to the ground. The two women frolicked and rolled on the ground. "Goodbye." Qinyan shook his head and smiled. "Xiao Yun, I will find you another day with Sister Shu Yin and teach you the 9 Sun World Extermination Scripture. This is something you must master." Yang Shiyu walked towards Qin Yun and said with gentle smile. Lu Yu Shuyan laughed. "Xiao Yun, I'll teleport you out." Xiao Yueme promptly shouted, "Let me do it! Let me do it! Brother, let's go." Before Qin Yun could respond, he was teleported outside by Xiao Yueme. "This little girl Yueme, she's in such a hurry to get rid of me. Is it because she wants to test the Mother Moon's teleportation ability?" Qin Yun shook his head and smiled. Qin Yun arrived outside the Mother Moon and took out the teleportation jade pendant. After sensing the divine inscription mountain, he immediately teleported there. After returning to divine inscription mountain, Qin Yun saw ancient ox fiend and fire Qilin. "Old ox, you are an elder of the ancient heaven race. You have just arrived at the immortal desolate, so you need to lead the ancient heaven race to find a territory." Qin Yun said with a smile, "You still have the time to eat and drink here." Ancient bull demon laughed. "Sect Master Qin, are you finding this old bull annoying?" Qin Yun promptly shook his head and said, "No way." Xiao Hua said with a smile, "Boss, Old Ox and Brother Qilin are now members of my inscription gate." "What? When did this happen?" Qin Yun is greatly alarmed, then said with a smile, "Welcome, welcome. You two are really something. You joining my inscription gate is a bit of an injustice for you." No, we all feel that staying the inscription gate is very good. Fire Qilin laughed. "Sect Master, you'll be our boss from now on. What about the ancient heaven race?" Qin Yun asked. "The ancient heaven race, our matter in the buried heaven land has been completed. The ancient heaven race can be disbanded." Ancient Bull Demon said with a smile. Azure Dragon said, "It was Big Sister who accepted them." "All right, where's Big Sister?" She's a bit busy," Qin Yun said. "That's how it should be. After all, she's Big Sister." Ancient Bull Demon chuckled. Qin Yun never expected that Xiao Yuemei would actually trick the Ancient Bull Demon into joining. After the Inscription Divine Mountain returned from the Cloud Dragon Mountain range, the number of Inscription Gate members increased a bit. Elder Shui Yi Hui, Triple Radiance, and Yi Shaosong. Now there's also the Ancient Bull Demon and the Fire Qilin. The Ancient Bull Demon is a very powerful Inscription Dome master, and the Fire Qilin is also a heavenly rune beast. There's no problem at all in joining the Inscription Gate. It's a pity that the Old Lion isn't here. Old Mountain sighed. The Old Lion promised Big Sister to stay in the Inscription Gate. He went to the Divine Desolate. We can still meet in the future. Qin Yun said with a smile. This Heavenly Lion King, will definitely be able to do well in the Divine Desolate. When we go to the Divine Desolate in the future, we'll be able to receive him. Immortal Emperor Devil Mirror walked over and said, "Boss, during the time we went to the Cloud Dragon Mountain range, many things happened here. Look at the Devil Mirror and you'll know." Qin Yun took out the Devil Mirror and checked the news. During this period of time, the sun once again descended a large amount of resources, mainly from the Divine Mountains. The Divine Mountain, this time, is different from the previous ones. The previous Divine Mountain was made up of Sun God Stone, and this time, there are many Sun God crystals inside the Divine Mountain. Of course, it's not easy to absorb those Sun God crystals. Only a small number of heavenly rune beasts have this kind of ability. Therefore, those Sun God Mountains are all occupied by powerful heavenly rune beasts. Currently, it was mainly the people from the outer heaven realms who were attacking the Divine Mountains. Apart from that, there was also the Sun Soul race and the Darkness Royal race. The Sun Spirit race and the Dark Royal race had joined forces with the outer heaven realm and occupied a part of the Sun God Mountain. The heavenly rune beasts from the outer heavens were especially powerful. Legend has it that the heavenly rune beasts of the outer heaven region absorb the divine universe golden stones to cultivate and are much stronger than the heavenly rune beasts of the immortal desolate. The Alliance army had suffered heavy losses in the immortal desolate before, and the Alliance army that came this time were all stronger. Many forces from the outer heaven domain regarded the entire immortal desolate as a land of treasures and resources, wantonly plundering the immortal desolate. The Imperial clan's Qin Imperial clan did not proceed to the Cloud Dragon Mountain range. They advocated for the entire immortal desolate to unite against the outer heavens. However, the Dark Royal race and the Sun Spirit race were playing tricks on them, saying that they were fighting against the outer heavens. But the heavenly rune beasts of the immortal desolate were the ones who benefited, not the humans. From the looks of it, it was the heavenly rune beasts that had suffered the greatest losses. However, many powerful heavenly rune beasts have long expressed their willingness to coexist peacefully with the humans of the immortal desolate. They want to help the humans become stronger and help them absorb the Sun God Crystal's energy. However, the Sun Spirit race is too despicable. They use their Sun Spirit poison to control many people and spread rumors everywhere, causing the immortal desolate people to distrust the heavenly mark beasts. The Nether Sect, Guanghan Palace, Qin Imperial Clan, Inscription World, Ancient Era clans, and other righteous factions all expressed their willingness to ally with the heavenly rune beasts. But because their core forces had all gone to the Cloud Dragon Mountain range, even if they joined forces with the heavenly rune beasts, it would be difficult for them to fight against the powerful outer heaven forces. At this time, the core forces of the various righteous sect had all returned to the immortal desolate. This caused the dark royal race and the sun spirit race to become anxious and spread all kinds of rumors. Fortunately, the magic mirror is under our control. We didn't let their rumors spread in the magic mirror. Magic Mirror Immortal Emperor said. With Ling Tian clan, Heaven Creation City, and Heaven Suppressing Sect joining us, those guys from Outer Heaven won't be able to be arrogant for long. Qin Yun said, my inscription gate will maintain communication with the other powers. When needed, we will attack with all our strength. There are many formidable inscription beasts in Inscription Gate. Qin Yun feels that with them communicating with other heavenly rune beasts, it will be very convenient. Xiao Hua said, Sect Master, those sun altars have all disappeared. I don't know if they returned to Divine Desolate or went somewhere else. I'll get to the bottom of this. The matter of the sun altars is very complicated. They sealed me back then. It must be related to the mysterious heavenly Tao. Qin Yun said, when Qin Yun and Princess Anya were sealed, it was because of the heavenly Tao altar controlled by Tian Dao Zi. Lu Jian said, the most urgent matter now is to eradicate the evil forces of Devil Immortal Heavenly Gate and Xian family. Devil Immortal Great Emperor and Immortal Desolate Great Emperor are no more, but their power in Immortal Desolate is still there. Immortal Mirror Immortal Emperor said, I investigated, Xian family and Devil Immortal Heavenly Gate have been taken over by the Dark Royal Race. Dark Royal Race? Qin Yun said with frown, half of the Dark Royal Race's bloodline is from Nine Sun Royal Race. Now it has completely transformed into evil. It all depends on Princess Anya's opinion. He always felt that the matter of the Dark Royal Race should be handled by Princess Anya. That's true. Immortal Emperor Demonic Mirror nodded. Ancient Ox Demon said, by the way, I heard you say that there's a mutated dragon race in Outer Heaven Realm. Did those guys come to cause trouble? I want to meet them. The Demonic Mirror Immortal Emperor said, that's not true. Back then, the alien dragon race's leader was scared silly by Qin Yun. He immediately called Qin Yun Uncle Qin and decisively ran away. That was how he managed to escape with his dog life. They won't dare to come again. Qin Yun said with smile, the variant dragon race is very afraid of the nine-dragon heavenly origin formation. The immortal desolate dragon emperor has the nine dragons heavenly origin formation. They still dare to come? Breaking news suddenly came from the demonic mirror. Xiao Hua looked at the magic mirror and shouted, Boss, a large number of Alliance Army warships are rushing towards Heaven City. Magic Mirror Immortal Emperor said, there's a rumor that there's a fluctuation of Divine Universe Golden Stone in Heaven Creation City. Those fellows from the outer heavens are going to snatch the Divine Universe Gold Stone. Everyone in the Cloud Dragon Mountain range knew that Qin Yun had given the Divine Universe Gold Stone to Heaven Creation City. Now, the news had spread in the Immortal Desolate. Let's go. Let's hurry to Heaven Creation City. Qin Yun said, these guys from the Alliance Army, we killed so many of their warships before, but they still don't have a good memory. Ancient Ox Demon said with smile, this old ox can finally meet those fellows from the Outer Heaven Realm. When the time comes, don't steal this old ox's limelight. Let me go out and settle them. Fire Qilin said with smile, old ox, I'm also new to the Inscription Gate. You have to let me do something, lest the boss thinks that I'm here to eat and drink. Qin Yun said with smile, let's all go together and let the Outer Heaven Alliance Army live in fear of the Inscription Gate. Mountain God said with smile, I still haven't had enough fun in the buried Heaven Land. Chapter 1986. The strength of Heaven City is not weak. They have just arrived in the Immortal Desolate, so the people of the Immortal Desolate and the Outer Heaven Domain don't know much about Heaven City. It's just that some people have posted some things about Heaven City on the Magic Mirror. The Outer Heaven Domain only has a vague understanding of the specific strength of Heaven City. The people of the Outer Heaven Domain have always been very arrogant and looked down on the Nine Sun Heavenly Domain because in their eyes, everything in the Nine Sun Heavenly Domain is very backward. Now, They know that Qin Yun's divine universe golden stone has fallen into the hands of Heaven City, and they have also detected the fluctuations of divine universe golden stone in Heaven City. So they rushed over like a swarm of bees. In order to snatch Qin Yun's divine universe golden stone, the outer heaven domain suffered heavy losses. Countless casualties and a large number of precious warships of the Alliance army were destroyed. Therefore, no matter what, they must obtain Qin Yun's divine universe golden stone from the immortal desolate. Only then can they have an explanation. At this time, the outer heaven domain is wantonly plundering resources in the immortal desolate. On one hand, it is to suppress the growth of the immortal desolate. On the other hand, it is to make up for their previous losses. Heaven City is located on a very flat wasteland in the immortal desolate. This kind of huge and ancient city, although it has experienced the vicissitudes of life, is still magnificent. Coupled with the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation inside, one can feel the power of this city after approaching. Within Heaven City, there are Divine Inscription Palace, 9-yang Divine Palace, and Heaven Creation God Palace. There are 3 very powerful forces. After experiencing the previous few battles, these 3 forces are even more united. Although Princess and Yi passed down the position of Palace Master, the authority of Heaven Creation God Palace is still not reduced. In the air around Heaven City, there are hundreds of black warships floating. The largest is 1,000 meters long, and the smallest is a few hundred meters long. These black warships are mainly from the Outer Heaven Domain Alliance Army. Not only the Outer Heaven Domain Alliance Army, there are also experts from the Dark Royal race and the Sun Spirit race. They're now allies with the Outer Heaven Domain. The Outer Heaven Domain Alliance Army has abundant resources, and with good relations with the Alliance Army, it will be more convenient to go to the Outer Heaven Domain in the future. People of Heaven City, listen up. Quickly hand over the Divine Universe Golden Stone you obtained from Qin Yun. An arrogant and cold voice came from a huge warship. Qin Yun gave us the Divine Universe Golden Stone, so it is ours. What does it have to do with you? Heaven Creation City Creation Heaven City Master? The person who spoke was Elder Situ. No matter what, that Divine Universe Gold Stone is ours. The voice from the Alliance Army's warship was very strong. If your Heaven Creation City doesn't get it to us, we will rob it. Elder Situ replied with a big laugh. Then come and fight for it. The warships of the Alliance Army suddenly condensed a powerful energy and turned into a huge ball of light. Hundreds of huge energy balls suddenly blasted towards Heaven City. A series of explosions rang out, and Heaven City was also constantly shaking. The entire Heaven City was suddenly shrouded in all kinds of tyrannical energy mist. The vast wasteland cracked and sunk. A voice came from the warship of the Alliance Army, laughing loudly. Heaven City, do you know how strong we are? At this moment, a giant that was dozens of meters tall and very agile appeared. This giant, clad in purple gold armor, suddenly appeared through space. It was Hercules transformed from the divine mountain of inscription. Previously, during the great battle in the graveyard, the divine mountain of inscription had obtained a lot of purple gold heavenly armor. Now that he had turned into Hercules, he was wearing a very strong purple gold heavenly armor. Hercules traveled through space and appeared in the sky, descending towards a warship. The Alliance Army's warship also sensed an attack approaching and quickly released a powerful barrier. Boom! Hercules descended and punched the barrier, causing an explosion. The flying ship was also blasted downwards. However, Hercules did not break the barrier. These Alliance Army are indeed much stronger than before. Qin Yun was inside the divine mountain of inscription. After seeing the situation outside, he said, "Let's go out. Let's go." The ancient ox devil laughed. "I can't wait any longer." Within the inscription gate, those who could fight immediately rushed out. Seeing a group of experts suddenly appear and ferociously attack the warships, the Alliance Army is very angry. They're all very shocked because these people are not many in number, but they are all very strong. Who are you people? How dare you make an enemy of our Alliance Army? We're the strongest power in the outer heaven domain. An angry shout came from the largest warship. Alliance Army, haven't you been looking for me? Now that I've brought the inscription gate, you actually can't recognize us? You deserve to be beaten. Qin Yun laughed loudly and shot out the sun-suppressing divine arrow from the nine heavens dragon lion cannon. The sun-suppressing divine arrow was shot out like a cannon arrow. With a so sound, it fiercely pierced through a huge warship. The sun-suppressing divine arrow's 10,000 devouring ability, under the control of Qin Yun's powerful mental power and sun core, was unleashed to the extreme. The huge warship was pierced by the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Although the sun-suppressing divine arrow is very small, after entering, it devoured all kinds of energy and condensed a very strong power, forming a very strong barrier. That huge barrier is like a giant arrow. It wrapped around the sun-suppressing divine arrow and pierced from the stern to the bow. The huge ship that is several hundred meters long was pierced in an instant, and the entire hull was torn to pieces. The most terrifying thing is that after the arrow pierced through a flying warship, its power did not decrease and continued to pierce through another warship. Boom! Although the other warship was activated with all its might and released a very strong barrier, it was still pierced through by the ferocious sun-suppressing divine arrow. It caused the warship to break into two pieces in an instant. There are many people watching from the vicinity of Heaven City. They were the ones who first released the news on the magic mirror that the Alliance Army was going to attack Heaven City. At this moment, they also witnessed the appearance of the Hercules and the attack of the Inscription Gate on the Alliance Army. The sudden appearance of the Inscription Gate destroyed several huge warships in an instant. The Ancient Ox Devil and the Fire Qilin are both very strong. Although this is their first time attacking the warships of the Alliance Army, it is still relatively easy for them to destroy a warship. The Inscription Gate has the most experience with these warships of the Alliance Army. In just a short period of time, more than 20 of the 100 warships were destroyed. The onlookers were all shocked and quickly posted the news on a magic mirror. Originally, the people of the immortal desolate land thought that the current Alliance Army was even stronger. It would not be that easy for the Inscription Gate to deal with the Alliance Army. However, the great battle that broke out at this moment was even more shocking. The Alliance Army was not the Alliance Army from before. The Alliance Army that came this time was even stronger. As for the Inscription Gate that had just returned from the Cloud Dragon Mountain range, it was just as strong. Sect Master Qin, why are you all here? This kind of thing can be solved by my Heaven City. It's as if we are very weak and always need help. Elder Situ laughed and said. He had already brought a group of experts out. Elder Situ, we are not here to help you. I already have enmity with the Alliance Army. When we found out that the Alliance Army was here, we rushed over. Qin Yun said with a loud laugh. Then he casually waved the long floating cloud rod in his hand and broke a flying warship. In the blink of an eye, he had destroyed the warship that the Alliance Army was so proud of. This caused the people of the immortal desolate land who were previously afraid of the warships to be dumbfounded. Because in their eyes, the warships of the Alliance Army were not only extremely strong in defense, but also very strong in attack. This was also the reason why the Alliance Army was able to run amok in the immortal desolate land. After the people of Heaven City appeared, they also attacked bravely. 70 to 80 of the Alliance Army's 100 or so flying warships were destroyed in an instant. The rest all fled in panic. Previously, there were many people who questioned how strong the forces that came from the Cloud Dragon Mountain range were. Now that they saw how powerful the Heaven City was, it caused a stir in the entire immortal desolate land. The Alliance Army of the Outer Heavens, the Dark Royal race, the Sun Spirit race, and the Sun Hunter race all attached great importance to this because they knew that none of the forces that came from the Cloud Dragon Mountain range were weak. Qin Yun returned to the Divine Inscription Mountain and said, "These Alliance Army are not as strong as I imagined. It's just a little stronger defense." "Boss, that's for us. For others, this Alliance Army is very strong." Xiao Hua said, "Old Xiao, I'm going into seclusion for a period of time. I'll leave the matters of the inscription gate to you. Qin Yun had just witnessed the strength of the Alliance army and felt a lot more at ease. He thought that the Alliance army was very strong, but compared to the Heavenly Man and Heavenly Armor Guard of the Heavenly Law Divine Realm, they are still lacking a lot. Therefore, he went into seclusion with ease. Qin Yun took out the floating cloud pagoda and entered it. He had killed the divine cosmic evil dragon and destroyed its soul, but the divine cosmic evil dragon's body still remained. When the divine cosmos evil dragon just broke the seal, its entire body was severely rotten. However, with the help of the heavenly law divine realm, it recovered very well. Qin Yun took out a small cauldron and carefully looked at the divine cosmos evil dragon's body inside. Ling Yun said with a smile, Xiao Yun, this divine cosmos evil dragon's body is so powerful that even you can't destroy it. Have you thought about what you want to do? I don't know. I wanted to ask my father, but he's cultivating and healing at the immortal desolate dragon race's side. Qin Yun said. He had previously talked to Xiao Yuelon and Qi Malian about their mother soul. Their mothers have already been reborn, but they are currently working for the heavenly Tao. If they want to meet, they still need to wait for arrangements. Father once worked for the heavenly Tao. He definitely knows something. Ling Yun said, You have to figure out the matter of the heavenly eye. Qin Yun nodded and said, Yun'er, didn't I obtain the divine cosmos heavenly dragon's egg yolk before? Those egg yolks have fused with the devil star tyrant dragon. Should I also mix in the divine cosmos evil dragon's body? You can give it a try. Maybe you can create something very powerful. Ling Yun said with a smile. Xiao Yun, if you can really create a puppet as powerful as the divine cosmos evil dragon, it will be very useful at the critical moment. That's true, but it will take a very long time. Qin Yun placed the divine cosmos evil dragon into a pearl of the nine-sun divine spirit and mixed it with the devil star tyrant dragon. Ling Yun said, Are you going to start fusing the 8 souls and 9 spirits? Chapter 1987. The reason why Qin Yun is at a loss as to whether or not to fuse with the 8 souls and 9 spirits is because he feels that his present life is pretty good. Although he doesn't have the memories of his past life, he is getting along very well with his friends from his past life. He knows that in his past life, he has interacted with the 9 Sun divine maidens. He is worried that he once had an irreconcilable hatred with them. If he regains all his memories, he might become enemies with a certain 9 Sun divine maiden. Furthermore, he is afraid that among his 8 souls and 9 spirits, there are some that can change his memories. Yun'er, if I fuse with the 8 souls and 9 spirits and become someone else, you must think of a way to help me seal those memories. Qin Yun said, My current life is pretty good. I am afraid that I will become someone else and harm my friends and family. Ling Yun'er said, Xiao Yun, I know what you are worried about, because you lost control a few times and almost became very evil. You are worried that it is the other side of your soul, right? Qin Yun let out a long sigh and nodded. When he lost control, he did not recognize even his own family and friends. If not for Princess Anya waking him up, he would have been finished. Thinking of this, Qin Yun's mood became even heavier. Xiao Yun, don't be afraid. I am here. Ling Yun'er said, No matter what, you must find yourself. Otherwise, you will live an unclear life. Maybe you have even more enemies who harmed Sister Kiru and the others? That's true. Among the 9 Sun divine maidens, only Sister Kiru and the princess have the earliest memories. Qin Yun nodded. But I am worried that the one who harmed them is me. He once pawned Princess Anya's 8 souls and 8 spirits. Ling Yun'er said with a smile, Don't worry, Sister Kira loves you so much. You definitely did not harm her. Besides, don't they, the 9 Sun divine maidens, have a common mission? That is to protect you. Qin Yun shook his head and smiled. I am worried that I used to be a scum, that I am cold and heartless towards those who care about me. You coward. Ling Yun'er lightly groaned and said, You don't have the courage to face everything. I'm not afraid. Qin Yun promptly defended himself. How can it not be? You are afraid. Ling Yun said sternly, "What are you thinking in your heart? Do you think I don't know?" Qin Yun slightly clenched his fists and said, "I'm really just worried that after I recover my memories, I will lose everything. That's because you're afraid. Your weakness makes you afraid, and you can't deal with everything that happens." Ling Yun said, "Think about it. Why have you been thinking about the buried heaven land for so many years?" Qin Yun promptly said, "Of course I did it for Sister Kiru." Ling Yun said, "Then do you think Sister Kira didn't do it for your 8 souls and 9 spirits? Didn't she do so much for you?" Qin Yun thought of Xie Kiru. Her gentle and beautiful face appeared in his mind. Sister Kiru entered the buried heavenland back then. Do you really think that the immortal, desolate, great emperor could easily capture her and pawn her to the heavenly law pawn shop? Ling Yun said again. Qin Yun is startled. Ling Yun continued. Moji works for the heavenly law. She is Sister Kiru's mother. Sister Kiru was sealed in the buried heavenland. She ran out with the 9 Yin divine spirit and the 9 Sun divine spirit. And the 9 Sun divine spirit is very helpful to your growth. Yin, you mean that Sister Kiru deliberately entered the buried heavenland? Qin Yun said in a daze. I'm just guessing. I think that she deliberately allowed herself to be pawned by the immortal desolate great emperor and entered the buried heavenland to think of a way to rescue your 8 souls and 9 spirits. But she failed. Ling Yun said, "That's why you met in the Tianqin Empire." Qin Yun thought about his growth in this life. He has a great deal of interaction with Xie Kiru and the other 9 Sun Divine Maiden. Whether it is Yang Shiyue, Xiao Yuelon, and Xiao Yuenmei, or Lu Yu and Shu Yin, who once changed her name to Yao Fong, as well as Bing Xing. You are very powerful now, stronger than them. It can be said that you don't need their protection. However, you can't deny that you can grow to this point because of them. Ling Yun said again. Qin Yun looked at the pearl in his hand. His 8 souls and 9 spirits are sealed inside. Ling Yun said, "Xiao Yun, don't be afraid. You have never let them down, so they have always protected you. If you didn't fuse with the 8 souls and 9 spirits, you wouldn't even know how much suffering they suffered for you. Who bullied them? Do you still remember Sister Kiru's divine position was taken away by a guy called Love God? They were once Moon God and Slaughter God. Sister Kiru and Sister Shu Yin must have been killed." Ling Yun said, "Maybe they were killed because of you." Qin Yun tightly held the pearl. His hand suddenly trembled. "When you were the king of gods, you must have been the overlord of a region in the divine desolate. Moon God and Slaughter God must have been your left and right arms. But later they all died and reincarnated." Ling Yun said, "Yes, when I was the king of gods, I must have made them suffer great grievances." Qin Yun took a deep breath. He is already determined to fuse with the 8 souls and 9 spirits. Xiao Yun, you must know that many of your enemies are also very powerful. You are very powerful now, but can you guarantee that your enemies will be weaker than you? Ling Yun said, "Only by fusing with the 8 souls and 9 spirits can you become stronger. Only then can you know who your enemies are. Only then can you prevent Yuelon and others from being killed again." Qin Yun's expression immediately became resolute. He looked at the soul-sealing pearl in his hand and said in deep voice, There might be some accidents during the fusion. If necessary, help me control the 9 Sun Divine Soul and let Sister Steam Bun and others come out. Rest assured, there won't be any accidents." Ling Yun saw that Qin Yun has decided to fuse with the pearl and said with smile, "Xiao Yun, I am here. I also have a small nether sun." Ling Yun has a small nether sun. She has been familiarizing herself with it. As for her control over the small nether sun, Qin Yun doesn't know. "All right, I will begin." Qin Yun closed his eyes, undid the soul-sealing pearl seal, and released the 8 souls and 9 spirits inside. The moment the 8 souls and 9 spirits came out, Qin Yun felt his wrist suddenly become burning hot. It is the 9 Sun Divine Soul that is burning hot. This is the first time he felt that the 9 Sun Divine Soul was so close to him. It was as if it was connected by blood and had spent countless years with him. The 9 yang divine spirit belonged to him alone. He was very sure of this. As for where the 9 yang divine soul came from, he still did not know. The 8 souls and 9 spirits fused with one of his souls. He only had one soul in his body, but because his soul was so powerful, he had reincarnated many times and carried many memories. When he came into contact with his 8 souls and 9 spirits, Qin Yun felt an incomparable agitation surge into his heart. He could not help but tear up. After being separated from him for so many years, after sleeping for so many years, his 8 spiritual and 9 physical souls were finally reunited. Ah! Qin Yun suddenly roared. He felt extreme pain. He rolled on the ground. The fusion process was similar to what he had imagined, and it was indeed very uncomfortable. After all, he was suddenly going to receive all kinds of energy and memories from these 8 souls and 9 spirits. When the souls fused together, the 2 separated souls had to tear open a crack so that the cracks of the 2 souls could fuse back together. Therefore, the process of fusion was doubly painful. Xiao Yun, hold on. Ling Yun'er said, your 8 souls and 9 spirits have been sealed for many years and are very weak. You must not resist, or you will destroy your precious memories. Qin Yun could not speak at this moment. All kinds of pain suddenly surged, and all kinds of emotions appeared in his incomplete memories. His entire body suddenly erupted with endless hatred. That kind of resentment is incomparably terrifying, causing him to let out all kinds of sinister roars. His appearance was as if he had turned evil. Ling Yun'er is very nervous because when Qin Yun fused with the 8 souls and 9 spirits, there were too many negative emotions. Hatred and grief were the most. In addition, Qin Yun is now suffering from the pain of fusion. If this continues, he will definitely collapse. Xiao Yun, hold on. Ling Yun lightly shouted. Among the memories of the 8 souls and 9 spirits, the negative memories must be the strongest, so you are the first to feel them. There must be many good memories. Ling Yun also did not expect that Qin Yun's 8 souls and 9 spirits would often have so many painful memories. She previously thought that Qin Yun had the protection of the 9 sun goddesses. Even if there was sorrow in his memories, there should be even more good memories. But now she is wrong. In Qin Yun's memories, there's only hatred, endless hatred. Ling Yun can't see Qin Yun's memories. She can only feel Qin Yun's extremely strong resentment. He has a complete 9 souls and 9 spirits. In addition, these 9 souls and 9 spirits are very strong souls, causing Ling Yun to be unable to see through Qin Yun's memories. In other words, she will no longer be able to read Qin Yun's memories. Xiao Yun, no matter what, your life is very beautiful. Think about Yuelon and Yuemei. Think about little Mo in the 9 sun divine spirit. Ling Yun'er said, look at Mo. She is so cute, so pure. When she was at her most difficult, she was hungry and uncomfortable. It was you who made her full. Ling Yun tried her best to evoke Qin Yun's beautiful memories. She continued, you are little Mo's brother. She thinks you are a good person. You must not turn bad. There is also little Mei Yin and little Jingming. In their hearts, you are a good brother. They are also very concerned about you. For you to be able to meet them, this is a beautiful and bright experience in your life. Qin Yun is still hugging his head and screaming in pain. His eyes are emitting black gas. Ling Yun said again, Xiao Yun, I know that in your memories, there must be a very painful experience, but that is all in the past. Your life is beautiful. If you are lost in hatred, then the beauty of your life will be destroyed in an instant. Love God, I will kill you. Qin Yun roared. I will kill all the beasts of the heavenly, law divine realm. Chapter 1988. Ling Yun continued to guide Qin Yun, letting him receive those painful memories and at the same time, let him recall those beautiful memories. The memories you are receiving now are the painful memories of the past. And the beautiful memories I mentioned just now are all in this life. They are very precious. Ling Yun'er said, "If you are led astray by those painful memories and become a great devil, then you are finished. Your enemies will definitely be very happy." "I know," Qinyan said in deep voice, "but those bastards, I can't let them off." "Xiao Yun, look at Sister Kiru. She knows a lot of things, but she is always very happy. She is so good and gentle to you," Ling Yun'er said. "Therefore, you must properly cherish Sister Kiru and Yuelan's kindness to you." The evil aura that burst out from Qin Yun's body gradually weakened. Is no longer like before when he almost lost control. Ling Yun'er once saw Qin Yun's memories. It can be said that she is very clear about most of Qin Yun's experiences in this life. Therefore, all those beautiful memories that Qin Yun experienced are now being dug out by Ling Yun one by one. In this way, Qin Yun's painful and dark memories are gradually being suppressed. Ling Yun cannot help but sigh with emotion. The memories that Qin Yun experienced in this life are certainly not as many as those of his previous lives. Qin Yun's previous life's memories seem to be living in darkness. The beautiful memories of his current life, compared to the dark memories of his previous life, can be said to be very weak. But it is precisely this weak, beautiful memory that blossomed with light that can illuminate a large area of darkness. Qin Yun's previous lives, even if he experienced miserable pain, he still has this life's beautiful memories. He can overcome the miserable pain he experienced and not lose himself because of it. One day passed by. Qin Yun is lying on the ground with his eyes closed. He is no longer in that much pain, but he is still in a semi-conscious state, fusing with those memories. Ling Yun let out a long sigh of relief. She swung around in Qin Yun's illusory space and said in low voice, "Finally pulled him back. It seems like he often loses control. It must be because of the hatred in the depths of his soul. Now that he knows all the hatred he experienced and can control his emotions, he won't sink into depravity again." When Qin Yun began fusing with all the memories, he was like a small boat lost in the raging sea of a violent storm. He was in despair and suffered all kinds of torment, causing him to be filled with pessimism towards the entire world. In the face of adversity, once one was in despair, they would give up and never be able to break free from adversity. It was equivalent to self-destruction. Ling Yun'er is like a bright lamp, illuminating the way in the raging sea of storms, letting Qin Yun see hope, thus firmly fighting against the storm. Now that Qin Yun has walked out of the storm, Ling Yun'er can be completely at ease. The next step was to wait for him to rest, cross the vast ocean, and reach his destination. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed since the powerful powers of the immortal desolate returned from the Cloud Dragon mountain range. In the past 3 months, all the forces and the heavenly rune beasts of the divine mountains joined forces to fight against the alliance army of outer heaven. There were a small number of sun god crystals in those sun god mountains. The alliance army that occupied the sun god mountain had no way to take out the sun god crystal, nor could they move the entire mountain away. Under such circumstances, defending Sun God Mountain was meaningless when facing the combined forces of the immortal desolate. They could only retreat. These heavenly rune beasts were very capable. They could release the energy of the divine crystals inside the Sun God Mountain. As long as they climbed the Sun God Mountain, they could absorb a small amount of divine power. With this kind of divine power, after the sun fell, even if many living beings left the 9-sun heavenly domain, they would still have a certain amount of strength and would not be bullied by the people of outer heaven domain. Because of the resources of the sun, more and more powerful 9th-stage immortal emperors were able to break through their bottlenecks, successfully become saints, and go to the sacred desolate. Of course, there are also some immortal emperors who want to stay in the immortal desolate, absorb the power of the divine crystals to improve their body, and go to the sacred desolate when they are strong enough. For example, Gu Jiyuan's group is like this. As for Creation Heaven City and Immortal Desolate Dragon Race, because they have the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation, they can release the power of the Sun God Crystal through the nine-dragon heavenly origin formation, which is easy to absorb and strengthen. After the immortal desolate dragon race became stronger, they had a strong deterrent force in the outer heaven domain. In the past 3 months, there has been no movement from the divine inscription mountain, mainly because the various forces in the immortal desolate are very strong. There is no need for the divine inscription mountain to take action. 3 months passed, and Qin still hasn't come out. Outside the floating cloud pagoda, Yang Shuriwa stood for a long time. Long Yuqing said in low voice, "Sister Yang, brother hasn't come out yet? Do you want me to knock on the door and let him know you are here?" "No need. He must be in seclusion. It would be bad if we disturb him." Yang Shuriwa promptly pulled Long Yuqing to the side and said with smile, "Yuqing, the Guanghan Palace has already moved to the Mother Moon. We will go to the sacred desolate through the Mother Moon. Will you go with the divine inscription mountain or the Guanghan Palace?" But I haven't become a saint yet," Long Yuqing said. "Then what about big sister Yume? Yume will go with the Guanghan Palace. It doesn't matter if you haven't become a saint. The Mother Moon will protect you," Yang Shuriwa said. "Then what about brother?" Long Yuqing looked at the floating cloud pagoda and said, "He is still in seclusion. I want to ask him." "Your brother will definitely go to the sacred desolate," Yang Shuriwa said. "Can we wait for him to come out and then let him go to the Guanghan Palace and go with us to the sacred desolate?" Long Yuqing is somewhat reluctant to part with Qin. The Mother Moon can only protect women to smoothly pass through the sacred desolate space. "Your brother is a man. He can't go," Yang Shuriwa said with smile. A3. "I want to go to the sacred desolate, but I can't bear to part with brother." Long Yuqing pouted and said, "Big sister Yang, don't tell me you have the heart to abandon brother and leave." Yang Shuriwa shook her head with smile and said, "I also don't have the heart, but we have important things to do in the sacred desolate. We have the protection of the Mother Moon. There won't be any problem for us to go there." Just when Long Yuqing is at a loss, Qin suddenly opened the door and came out. Long Yuqing and Yang Shuriwa are startled when they saw Qin. The Qin before them is the one they are familiar with, but they feel that he is somewhat different. They can't tell what is different for a moment. Qin is wearing a blue inscription master robe. His handsome and resolute face has a gentle smile on it. His bright eyes seem to be filled with infinite beauty. From his expression, it can be seen that Qin's mood is extremely good. Moreover, he looks even more cheerful and sunny than before. His eyes are filled with deep love, as if he loves all the beautiful things in the world. "Brother, why do I feel that you are a bit different?" Long Yuqing ran over, pulled Qin's hand, and said with smile, "What's wrong with you? You seem to have become a bit more handsome." "I have always been very handsome." Qin pinched Long Yuqing's small earlobe and said with smile, "Baby dragon girl, during the time I was in seclusion, you were not mischievous, right? Brother, you recovered your previous life's memories?" Long Yuqing said in shock, "You like to pinch my earlobe in your previous life, and even call me baby dragon girl." Qin faintly smiled. "Baby dragon girl, go to the Guanghan Palace and follow me to the sacred desolate." Yang Shuriwa knows that Qin has been fusing with the 8 souls and 9 spirits for the past few months. Therefore, she is not surprised that Qin has recovered his memories. "All right," Long Yuqing said with smile. "Since you have recovered your memories, I don't need to worry about you anymore. I will go find you a maid to play." After speaking, she skipped away and pulled Shimin Qinglian to go pick fruits. Qin and Yang Shuriwa entered the floating cloud pagoda. After Yang Shuriwa sat down, she drank the tea that Qin poured for her. "Big sister Yang," Qin said with smile, "you have already recovered your memories. Are you still calling me Big sister Yang?" Yang Shuriwa smiled sweetly. "You will always be my big sister Yang." Qin laughed, then let out a long sigh and said, "I am truly sorry. I harmed the Guanghan Palace and caused it to be attacked. In the end, I was unable to defend it." Yang Shuriwa held Qin's hand and looked at him affectionately. She said with a gentle smile, "Xiao Yun, you are not a mortal King Fu Yun, nor are you the king of gods, nor are you the king of Nine Yang Palace. You are Qin Yun. Let go of some things from your previous life. There are some things that I can let go of, but there are some things that I can't let go of. Qin Yun's expression turned slightly cold as he said, especially those fellows who once harmed you. I will definitely not let them off. We can still be reborn. We can still be together. The experience of this life is very beautiful to me. I don't want to lose it. Yang Shiyue's beautiful eyes were filled with affection for Qin Yun as she said softly, "And you are the most beautiful thing in my life." Qin Yun embraced Yang Shiyue and kissed her vermilion lips. The two of them hugged each other tightly. After recovering his memories, Qin Yun knew that he and Yang Shiyue had very deep feelings for each other in his previous life. After he recovered his memories, when he saw Yang Shiyue, even deeper emotions erupted. And when Yang Shiyue saw that Qin Yun had recovered his memories and was still the Xiao Yun in her heart, she was also extremely happy. Their feelings rose once again, and they couldn't help but hug and kiss each other. On the 20th floor of the floating cloud pagoda, on a large bed, Yang Shiyue and Qin Yun had a sweet night. "Big Sister Yang, you're so beautiful." Qin Yun looked at the perfect beauty who got up from the bedding and said with a smile, "I've known you for so long. Only today did I completely feel your beauty." Who asked you to be so insensitive?" Yang Shiyue laughed in anger, put on her clothes, and said with a smile, "Yuan has long since appreciated my beauty." Qin Yun curled his lips and said, "In my previous life, I was punished by the heavens, and I couldn't even kiss a woman. Besides, I'm an honest person. It's normal for me to be insensitive." Yang Shiyue giggled. After putting on her clothes, her long hair hung down on her chest as she sat on the bed and looked at Qin Yun. At this moment, she was slightly cold and elegant, but when she smiled, she was charming and charming without losing her gentleness, causing Qin Yun to be somewhat infatuated. "Xiao Yun, how are you right now? Do you want to learn the Nine-Sun World Extermination Scripture?" Yang Shiyue said, "If you want to learn, then you have to quickly find Yume to refine the world extermination spirit." Chapter 1989. Because I still have the heavenly punishment. If I refine the world extermination spirit, the heavenly punishment will become even stronger. Qin Yun said, "Furthermore, after cultivating the Nine-Sun World Extermination Scripture, once I use the power of the Nine-Sun World Extermination Scripture, the heavenly punishment will descend." Yang Shiyue said in astonishment, "You still have the heavenly punishment? Didn't your heavenly punishment in this life make everyone forget about you? This heavenly punishment was broken by you." Qin Yun sat up and hugged this charming and gentle beauty. He said with a smile, "A new heavenly punishment has appeared again. But don't worry, I'll be fine." Yang Shiyue gently caressed Qin Yun's chest and said with worried expression, "Xiao Yun, I'm really worried about you." "Don't worry, I have so many memories now. I can deal with it." Qin Yun said with a smile, "I've known you for a long time, but our relationship in this life is the best. My previous life is Yuji's life. Other than that, I still have a previous life?" Yang Shiyue said in astonishment. "How come I don't know?" Qin Yun smiled mysteriously and said, "That's because you haven't awakened your memories. Quickly tell me what my previous life was like." Yang Shiyue's face is filled with charming smile. She bit her lips and lightly pounded Qin Yun's chest. She is very anxious and looking forward to it. "I won't say. In the past, you knew about my previous life. Now, I know more about your previous life." Qin Yun mischievously laughed and then gently caressed Yang Shiyue's face. "You're bad. Quickly tell me. I'm dying of curiosity." Yang Shiyue really wants to know. She threw Qin Yun on the bed and played with him while laughing. The two of them were originally fooling around, but very soon, they kissed again. They didn't know how long they were sweet for before they got up from the bed that witnessed the result of their several lifetimes of love. "Big Sister Yang, why are you in such a hurry to go to the sacred desolate? Is it the mission of the goddess?" Qin Yun asked. Yang Shiyue gracefully wore a white dress. A pair of slender and beautiful jade-like legs were slowly wrapped in the white dress. Qin Yun walked over, hugged Yang Shiyue's waist, and said, "Your goddess mission is very difficult to complete, right? Do you need my help?" Yang Shiyu shook her head and said softly, "Xiao Yun, Sister Kiru, and Xiao, she said that you have something very important to do. Our mission cannot delay you. Big Sister Yang, you're already mine. Why are you still treating me like an outsider?" Qin Yun hugged her tightly, letting the beauty lean against his chest. "Xiao Yun, Big Sister Yang promises you that when I need your help, I will definitely tell you." Yang Shiryu gently smiled. "And if there's anything, don't shoulder it yourself," Qin Yun said with a smile. "All right, I'll go back first." Yang Shiryu said with smile, "Sister Rujing is still inside the Nine-Sun Divine Spirit. It's been a long time. She's been cultivating for a long time. I'll get her to come out and go to the Guanghan Palace." Qin Yun said, "No need. Let her follow you for the time being." Yang Shiryu quickly said, "Why?" "She'll go to the Guanghan Palace and go to the sacred desolate with you." Qin Yun said, "She's very strong and can be of great help to you." Yang Shiryu wrinkled her nose and said with a displeased smile, "Xiao Yun, Sister Rujing can help you cultivate a very strong saint vein. If you let her go with us, it will be very difficult for you to cultivate your own saint vein." This, Qin Yun curled his lips and said, "I want to cultivate by myself. All right, let's go back to the Guanghan Palace first." Yang Shiryu said with smile, "Sister Kiru and the others might not come to see you, so I'll bid you farewell on their behalf." "Xiao, she has recovered her memories?" Qin Yun asked. Yang Shiryu nodded. "Then does she still want to bite me?" Qin Yun asked worriedly. Yuelon said that Xiao she might want to bite your tongue. Yang Shiryu chuckled. "Quickly send me out," Qin Yun said with smile. "Kiss me before you leave." Yang Shiryu wrapped her arms around Qin Yun's neck. The two of them sweetly kissed for a moment before leaving the floating cloud pagoda. Originally, Qin Yun wanted to go to the Mother Moon, but Yang Shiryu said that the Mother Moon can't allow men to enter now. The Mother Moon is very powerful. It appears during the day and can directly teleport the disciples of the Guanghan Palace back to the Mother Moon. Yang Shiryu was teleported away in an instant. Qin Yun returned to the Divine Inscription Mountain and entered the floating cloud pagoda. He deeply breathed in the fragrance left behind by Yang Shiryu and felt very happy in his heart. "Xiao Yun, after you fused with your memories, you finally became enlightened." Ling Yun giggled and said, "Were you happy last night?" "Yuner, I'm still Qin Laoshi," Qin Yun said with a serious expression. "You little rascal fairy, don't even think about corrupting my honest soul." Ling Yun said with disdain, "Xiao Yun, I can't see your memories now, so don't try to fool me. Answer me honestly. After you recovered all your memories, who was the first woman you had in your several lifetimes?" "Yuelon," Qin Yun said, "you might not believe it, but in this life, I truly felt the beauty of living." "How miserable," Ling Yun said sympathetically. Qin Yun said with a smile, "Not miserable, not miserable. I am very satisfied." Ling Yun said, "Xiao Yun, what happened to Xiao? She's 8 souls and 8 spirits. Was it really you who pawned it?" "I pawned it," Qin Yun sighed and said, "At that time, she just happened to die. I pulled out the 8 souls and 8 spirits, sealed them, and then gave them to the Heavenly Tao pawn shop." "Then what did you exchange for?" Ling Yun asked curiously. "In exchange for the chance to reincarnate 8 times," Qin Yun said. "Otherwise, she might not have been able to reincarnate so smoothly. So that's how it is." Ling Yun said, "Then what did you exchange for when you pawned your own 8 souls and 9 spirits?" "It was also an exchange for a chance to reincarnate smoothly," Qin Yun said with a long sigh. "This was my plan back then. Although I was very strong back then, I was not a match for the Heavenly Tao Divine Realm, so I could only guarantee that I could continue to reincarnate." "Is the Heavenly Tao Divine Realm that powerful?" Ling Yun said with a frown. "Their celestial beings are very weak. Back then, to me, they were indeed very powerful. Qin nodded and said, "But now it's not certain. Back then, when I was still a palace king, I made the right bet. As long as I can continue to reincarnate, I will definitely have a chance to rise up again." Ling Yin is very curious about Qin Yun's matters and asked again, "Then what did you exchange for so many things in the heavenly Dao pawn shop?" "I exchanged for many things, such as allowing the 9 Yang divine maiden to continue to reincarnate, as well as some resources. I hid those resources and left them for me or Sister Kiru to reincarnate," Qin Yun said. Ling Yin suddenly became very excited and said with a smile, "Little Yun, what's going on with that bloodline heavenly pattern box? What's inside?" "I don't know what's inside either." Qin Yun took out the bloodline heavenly pattern box and said, "Even little she doesn't know, but she can open it." Ling Yin said, "She recovered her memories and knows the way to open it. I also know the way to open it. Use the 9 Desolation Divine Saber." Qin Yin shook his head. The 9 Desolation Divine Saber is one of the keys to open the box, but the 9 Desolation Divine Saber is damaged and is repairing itself. "What other keys do you need?" Ling Yin asked again. "The other key is the bloodline of the 9 Yang royal family," Qin Yin said. "There are many ways to explain the birth of the 9 Yang royal family, but they are all legends. The 9 Yang royal family is so powerful. The mystery of why they were born is all in this box." Qin Yun put away the box. Ling Yin said, "Little Yun, did you, immortal king floating cloud, leave anything behind in the immortal desolate in this life?" "Yes, but those things are not important. They are mainly used to raise cultivation," Qin Yun said with a smile. "I don't fancy those things now, so I'm too lazy to take them." In Immortal King Floating Cloud's life, the Immortal Desolate was lacking in resources. Now, in the Immortal Desolate, 9 suns have descended, so Qin Yun naturally does not lack resources. Furthermore, he still has half a box of Divine Universe Golden Stone. Right, what's going on with the Sun altar?" Ling Yun hurriedly said, "And that love god." Speaking of the love god, Qin Yun immediately clenched his fists, his eyes filled with hatred. "The love god betrayed me. She was the one who killed Sister Kiru and Sister Shuyan, that bitch," Qin Yun said coldly. "She was sent by the heavenly law divine realm to deal with me. It's all my fault for being too careless. Otherwise, my divine king life would not have ended." Love God. Is she still in the divine desolate? Ling Yin finally understood why Qin Yun hated the love god so much. The love god is also the one who pawned the moon god divine position. "No, she's in the 9th desolate." Qin Yun's expression turned cold as he said, "No matter where she is, no matter how strong she is, I will find her." "Then did you fall in love with her?" Ling Yun asked in a low voice. Qin Yun slowly nodded and said, "Yes, but she betrayed me. She is a heavenly person." Ling Yun said again, "Little Yun, you will definitely find her." "Right, what about the sun altar?" "There is a sun altar hidden in the 9 nether realm. It was created by you, immortal king floating cloud, in your life, right? There are 9 sun altars. They belong to 9 sun sects. I was once the sect master of a 9 sun sect. However, the other 8 sun sects all joined forces with the heavenly law divine realm. In the end, one of the 9 sun sects was destroyed." Qin Yun said, "The 9 sun sect that was destroyed was mine. So that's how it is. You are the king of gods, yet you can't defeat them?" Ling Yun said, "If it wasn't for the love god, they wouldn't have been my match." Qin Yun clenched his fists and said coldly, "This is all my fault." Ling Yin was worried that she would incite Qin Yun's anger, so she did not continue asking. She said again, "Little Yun, then in your life before the Divine King, was it the 9 Yang Palace King?" "No, I have a total of 9 lives. The 9 Yang Palace King is the first life." Qin Yun shook his head. "In the few lives between the 9 Yang Palace King and the King of Gods, I was sealed and tortured in all kinds of ways. My soul was sent to various heavenly realms in the 3,000 heavenly realms, and I was tortured differently in each heavenly realm." When Qin Yun talked about this matter, he was very calm. Ling Yun did not continue asking. She suddenly felt sorry for Qin Yun because these memories were the most painful and tragic, but also the most. Little Yun, I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have let you recover your memories. Ling Yun said with some guilt. Chapter 1990. Inside the floating cloud pagoda, Qin Yun looked at the prairie inside the divine inscription mountain and felt very comfortable. Ling Yun said, Xiao Yun, after you recovered your memories, you have changed a lot. Although you are still you, the feeling you give me seems to have become even more extraordinary. Is that so? Why don't I feel it? Qin Yun said with a smile. I feel that I'm still that Qin Yun. After all, you were the Nine-Sun Palace King. Back then, you must have been very strong. Later on, you experienced so many hardships. Your mental state must have improved a lot. Ling Yun said. Maybe. Qin Yun recalled the past and smiled indifferently. Speaking of which is strange. After I recover my memories, I felt like I had a nightmare. In my memory, I have indeed experienced a lot of pain. When I woke up, I found myself in the most beautiful time. Ling Yun said with a smile. Of course, with my great beauty Yun accompanying you. How can you not be beautiful? Qin Yun cannot help but laugh and said, although I was once the Nine-Sun Palace King, I still don't know much about Nether Sun. It's fine, we can slowly explore. Ling Yun said, Xiao Yun, how did you bring the sun altar to Nine Nether Realm? Nine Nether Realm's floating cloud city is not easy to build. It was my foster father's help. Qin Yun suddenly thought of the Netherworld Great Emperor and said, Foster father's experience is very rich. He was once the overlord of Nine Nether Realm. When I was the Nine-Sun Palace King, I knew him. The overlord of Nine Nether Realm. Ling Yun said in shock. Then how did he go to Immortal Desolate and even become the Netherworld Great Emperor? The relationship between Nine Nether Realm and Heavenly Law Divine Realm is very complicated. Qin Yun said with a frown. I am not too clear about the specifics. In short, when I was the king of gods, foster father, and the space god helped me a lot. Then your foster father and Basya are now in Nine Nether Realm. What are they doing there? Ling Yun asked. I don't know either. Qin Yun shook his head and suddenly felt worried. He muttered, When I was the king of gods, my relationship with Sword God was pretty good, but Sword God died in the end. Basya being able to obtain Sword God's inheritance is also pretty good. Ling Yun said, Little Yun, did your foster father return to the Nine Nether Realm to become the new overlord? But his current strength shouldn't be enough. Qin Yun nodded and said, I'm also worried that he will act recklessly. Looks like I have to find a way to contact him. It's a pity that the passage between Cloud Dragon Realm and Nine Nether Realm is closed. Otherwise, I could ask Cloud Dragon to help me check. Ling Yun said, This guy Yun Long, the passageway between the Cloud Dragon Realm and the Nine Nether Realm has never been closed. Qin Yun said, It's impossible for that passageway to be closed. He lied to me. Qin Yun had not recovered his memories previously, so he did not know. Now that he had recovered his memories, he understood many things. Then why is there a passage? Ling Yun was surprised. That's a secret passageway. When Foster Father was still the overlord of the Ninth Underworld, he created such a passageway. Qin Yun said, Because that is the buried heaven land, a space that cannot be destroyed, so he created a secret passage. Looks like your foster father has been eyeing buried heaven land all this time. Ling Yun said with a smile. It should be. Qin Yun's eyes turned. He is thinking about something. He muttered, This guy Yun Long definitely knows foster father, but he didn't tell me about it. He even lied to me that the passageway is closed. Ling Yun said, Xiao Yun, let's talk about it another day when we meet Yun Long. You still have a very important matter. You promised Sister Yu that you would help her refine a nether moon. That's easy, Qin Yun said with a smile. I have Nether Sun. Refining Nether Moon will be very fast. Really? Why can you refine Nether Moon so quickly with Nether Sun? Ling Yun asked curiously. The birth of the moon has a lot to do with the sun. The relationship between the Nether Moon and the sun is the same. Qin Yun said, Yun'er, let's begin now. Help Sister Yu refine a nether moon, and make it before she goes to the sacred desolate. All right, let's begin, Ling Yun said with a smile. Qin Yun took out the pill, transformation, heavenly furnace from the nine-sun divine spirit. Seeing Qin Yun take out the pill, transformation, heavenly furnace, Ling Yun hastily shouted, Xiao Yun, nine-sun divine spirit's sixth pearl. Quickly open it and take a look. Oh, that's right. What is the relationship between you and this nine-sun divine spirit? Qin Yun looked at his wrist and said with a smile, Yun'er, this nine-sun divine spirit was refined by me. I started refining it when I was the nine-sun palace king. The nine divine spirit also came from my hands, but it is only a semi-finished product. Ling Yun'er is very pleasantly surprised and said, In that case, will you be able to open the sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth pearls immediately? Qin Yun shook his head and said, No, I don't know what is inside the nine-sun divine spirit, because those things were placed inside by Sister Kiru's mother. The seal was also placed by her. Sister Kiru's mother is that MOG, right? What is her background? Ling Yun asked, Do you know her? Sister Kiru said that her soul has not been destroyed. She might still be alive. Of course I know her. She's a very good granny. She should be in Nine Netherrealm now. Qin Yun sighed. She made a great sacrifice for me and Sister Kiru. Qin Yun looked at the white nine-sun divine spirit on his wrist and said again, I refined the nine-een divine spirit for Sister Kiru. Back then, we planned to use it to create the strongest primal chaos divine sun. Sister Kiru said that she wanted to use it to refine nine strongest primal chaos divine suns. Ling Yun nodded and said, What exactly is it? Is it awesome? Let's say it like this. The sun and moon that can be seen in the nine desolate are called heavenly sun and heavenly moon. The invisible ones are called nether sun and nether moon. Qin Yun released his nether moon and said again, When heavenly moon and nether moon fuse together, it becomes primal chaos divine moon. When heavenly sun and nether sun fuse together, it becomes primal chaos divine sun. If one has primal chaos divine sun, what does it mean? Ling Yun asked. It means that one can possess formidable power that surpasses heavenly Tao. Qin Yun inhaled a deep breath and said, Back then, I didn't know much about Nether Sun. I could only capture Nether Sun's spirit. Nether Sun is very difficult to obtain, is controlled by heavenly Tao. Really? As a Nether Sun elf, why wouldn't I know? Ling Yun said she was a Nether Sun Tao spirit. Qin Yun put away the Nether Moon and said, Because the heavenly Tao is old, its strength has weakened, its control over the Nether Sun is becoming weaker and weaker. It even let the Nether Sun do whatever it wants. Xiao Yun, is the heavenly Tao going to die? Ling Yun said in a low voice, The natural law divine realm is so rampant. Is it because of the heavenly Tao? Yes. The heavenly Tao allowed the natural law divine realm to mess around and destroy all kinds of powerful powers. The Nine-Yang royal race is an example, and my Nine-Yang divine palace back then was also destroyed by the natural law divine realm. As Qin Yun spoke, he and Ling Yun controlled a very strong Nether Sun power and poured it into the pill melting heavenly furnace. Ling Yun was very curious about the past and continued to ask, What happened in the Nine Suns heavenly region? Who created it? Where were the people from the Heaven Creation God Palace? I was one of the members of the Heaven Creation God Palace. Back then, I advocated using the power of the Nine Suns to capture the Nether Sun and use it to fuse and refine it into a primal chaos divine Sunday. However, everyone else opposed me, worried that the primal chaos divine sun would be controlled by me. Qin Yun said, Therefore, I fell out with them and created my own Nine-Sun God Palace. Then they all called me the king of the Nine-Yang Palace. Ling Yun said in surprise, You participated in the creation of the Nine Suns heavenly domain? Qin Yun shook his head and said, I only joined later. The most ancient 9 suns were created by the heavenly Tao. Then, the 9 suns spewed out many stones and earth to create the 9 desolate lands. The Heaven Creation God Palace is only perfecting the laws. What makes the 9 suns' heavenly domain different is that these 9 suns have their own thoughts. The 9 sun goddess can be said to be the child of the 9 suns. What about you, Xiaoyun? Why did the 9 sun goddess protect you? Ling Yuner said, how did you come here back then? When you were the king of the 9 Yang Palace. Who were your parents? Qin Yun was silent for a while and said, I also don't know their mission to protect me. In my memory, I was sleeping inside a meteorite. The meteorite fell into the 9 desolate lands and exploded. That is how I arrived in the 9 desolate lands. I was only a child at the age of 2 or 3. Then I started familiarizing myself with everything here. Later, I slowly became very strong, and my relationship with the 9 sun royal family was pretty good. Then many things happened. I was targeted by the heavenly law divine domain. Speaking about this matter, Qin Yun is also very perplexed because he doesn't know how he came here. Qin Yun released nether sun power and poured it into the pill transformation heavenly furnace to refine a small nether moon. Xiaoyun, it seems like you still have many things to do in the future. Ling Yun sighed and said, but the 9 desolate lands will be exterminated very soon. Why did the 9 suns fall into the 9 desolate lands? The 9 suns have their own consciousness. On one hand, they can sense danger. It is a kind of self-protection method. As for what kind of threat the 9 suns are facing, I am also not clear. Qin Yun said, back when I was the 9 sun palace king, I did not experience the 9 suns exterminating the world. At this time, Xian Rujing inside the 9 sun divine soul lightly called out to Qin Yun. Xiaoyun, my spirit cultivation is done. Xian Rujing said with smile. Let me out. I will show you my spirit. Qin Yun promptly let out Xian Rujing and said with smile, Sister Rujing, Guanghan Palace and Moon will soon leave for Sacred Desolate. Will you go? I will. Xian Rujing said with smile. What about you? Will you also come with us? Mother Moon does not allow men to enter, so I won't go. Qin Yun shook his head and said with smile, relax. I will be able to enter Sacred Desolate very soon. Then I won't go. I will accompany you. Xian Rujing said with smile. Let me take a look at my snow spirit first. Chapter 1991. After Xian Rujing released 2 beautiful fairies, the surroundings suddenly became very cold. These 2 fairies are very stunning. They are completely different from the ones Qin Yun saw before. One of the fairies has the same ice-cold jade-like face as Xian Rujing. Her shoulder-length hair is very beautiful. It is a kind of silver-colored hair that is slightly transparent. The other fairy's appearance is completely different from Xian Rujing. The 2 Snow Woman immortals Xian Rujing released before looked exactly the same as her. But now another fairy looks exactly the same as Xianling Shui. Xianling Shui is a clone of Xian Rujing, but she has not been awakened by Xian Rujing. She still has her own thoughts and personality. Isn't this Sister Ling Xue? Qin Yun said with smile. Ling Xue is also me. Isn't she beautiful? Xian Rujing said with smile. The fairy that looks exactly like me is Ice Fairy. The fairy that looks exactly like Ling Xue is Snow Fairy. Very beautiful. Qin Yun admired the 2 fairies. The Snow Fairy's snow-white, long hair fluttered like white snow. It is also emitting a kind of faint white light. It is very beautiful. Even though Xian Rujing is ice, cold normally, her clone Xianling Shui has a very beautiful and charming face. Beautiful, but not ordinary. Within the charm there is firmness and gentleness. Her intelligent eyes, under her shapely eyebrows, are filled with spirituality. They are very alluring. Xiaoyun, when will you cultivate your fairies? Xian Rujing waved her hand and stored her fairies. Soon, Qin Yun said with smile. Xian Rujing originally had Snow Woman immortals, but she still cultivated for so long. If Qin Yun wants to cultivate, he will need a lot of time. When you are cultivating, If there is anything you don't understand, you can ask me, Xian Rujing said with stern expression. I am an experienced person. I have a lot of experience. Qin Yun said, Sister Rujing, I am refining Nethermoon for Sister Yu. After I finish, you will bring Nethermoon to Mother Moon and hand it over to Yu. Say goodbye to them on my behalf. Then, you will go to Sacred Desolate with them. Didn't I say earlier that I will stay behind to accompany you? Xian Rujing's jade-like face turned cold and said, Qin Yun, did you become stronger and now you despise me? Qin Yun said with smile, Of course not. You are so strong. I need you to help them. They have very important things to do. They need powerful helpers. All right. Xian Rujing bit her lips and lightly sighed. Sister Rujing, I have already recovered my memories, Qin Yun said. Xian Rujing opened her eyes wide in amazement. She looked at Qin Yun and said in alarm, Really? Xian Rujing said with smile. True. Your Divine King's memories have also recovered? I used to be Ice and Snow Goddess, but back then I did not know you, Divine King, but now I know you, Xian Rujing said with smile. Qin Yun continued refining Nethermoon. He released the Nether Sun's power and poured it into the Dan Transformation Heavenly Furnace. Then he let the Dan Transformation Heavenly Furnace condense the Nether Sun's power into a small pearl. Of course, this requires a lot of Nether Sun power. Qin Yun and Ling Yuner both have Nether Sun, so he now has sufficient Nether Sun power. Qin Yun and Xian Rujing are now in the 20th floor of Floating Cloud Pagoda. Xian Rujing looked at the altar and yelled, Big Sister Star God, Big Sister Star God, I am Little Sister Bingxue. Quickly reply. Sister Star God is in seclusion. If she comes out, she will contact us, Qin Yun said. Xiao Yun, Sister Star God, is in seclusion. If she comes out, she will take the initiative to contact us, Qin Yun said. Xiao Yun, Sister Star God's God position has a problem, causing her to be unable to become stronger. Do you know the reason? Xian Rujing asked. Her God position is sealed, causing her to be unable to obtain all the God position inheritance. Qin Yun said, Oh, that's right. How do God positions come about? I remember it was created by 9 Sun Divine Palace. Xian Rujing asked, Since you have recovered Divine King's memories, you should know some things, right? I remember Sister Star God said that you were only one of the Divine King's candidates. How did you become Divine King? Qin Yun said with smile, It is very complicated. I was indeed one of the candidates, but later I defeated them and became Divine King. But some people don't want to admit it. They want to overthrow me. Sister Star God doesn't know much about these matters. Although the Star God inherited the deity position, she did not know much about the deities of the divine wilderness. That is also true. We can be said to be the gods of this era's later era. You and Sister Kiru are the earliest era's gods. Regarding the matters of that era, we only know some legends. Xian Rujing nodded and said, The deity position was not created by the 9 Yang Divine Palace. To be more specific, it was created by the 9 Yang Divine Palace and the Heaven-creating Divine Palace together. Qin Yun said, It's just that later on, the 9 Yang Divine Palace was powerless to control the gods, and because of other matters, the Heaven Creation Divine Palace ignored the gods of the Divine Desolate. Xian Rujing sighed and said, No wonder the gods of Divine Desolate became like scattered sand. Back then I was also muddle-headed. I didn't know what I wanted to do as Snow Goddess. I only wanted to become stronger and go to 9th Desolate. Qin Yun said, Originally, the responsibility of the gods of the Divine Wasteland was to control the various energies of the 9 suns' heavenly domain or to manage the various races. However, they were obstructed by the heavenly law divine domain, so they were unable to smoothly operate the gods. As a former palace king of the 9 Yang Palace, he knew very well how deity thrones came about, because he had participated in the creation of deity thrones. They existed in the first era of the 9 sun heavenly domain. The heavenly law divine domain intervened? Why can't I sense it? Xian Rujing said with frown. The 8-9 sun sects, Divine Inscription Palace. Evil Yang Palace of the Divine Desolate have close relationship with the heavenly law divine domain. Now, the nine sun sects are pretending to submit to the divine desolate imperial race. Not long after, the divine desolate imperial race will be infiltrated by the 8-9 sun sects. Qin Yun said. Xian Rujing cursed in cold voice. These wretched 9 sun sects, they're actually lackeys of the heavenly law divine domain. I have been in the divine desolate for so long, yet I didn't know about them. Even many people from the 9 sun sects don't know about them, let alone you. Qin Yun said. I did not expect that the divine desolate's divine inscription palace would also be infiltrated. Xian Rujing's expression became grave as she said. In the divine desolate, the divine inscription palace is a very righteous existence. Qin Yun said. The heavenly law divine domain's powers are everywhere in the divine desolate. That is why I was killed back then. Xian Rujing said. Let's not talk about this. Let's go to the divine desolate first. Qin Yun took out the magic mirror and contacted Xie Qiru and others. He asked them when they will be going to sacred desolate, and also informed them about his current situation. After he contacted Xie Qiru, he found out that it is not them who want to go to sacred desolate. It is Mu Yu who wants to go to sacred desolate. Therefore, after they discussed, they decided to go with Mu Yu to sacred desolate. Xiao Yun, since you have recovered your memories, you must know a lot about Mu Yu. Mu Yu wants to go to sacred desolate. There must be a very important matter, although I don't know what it is. Xie Qiru said. Since Mu Yu wants to go, let's go quickly. After I finish refining the nether moon, I will let Sister Rujing deliver it to Sister Yu Yu. Qin Yun said. All right, we will be leaving in 5 days. Can you make it in time? Xie Qiru asked. No problem. Qin Yun said with smile. Keep an eye on Yuan Mei, this little girl. Big sister. I've always been worried about her. I know, Xie Qiru said with smile. Xiao Yun, I am very happy that you have recovered your memories. I can't leave Mu Yu for now, so I won't go see you. I believe you will come to Sacred Desolate very soon. Mu Yu doesn't allow you to leave? Qin Yun said. Indeed, our 9-son divine maiden is being watched very closely by Mu Yu. She doesn't allow us to run around. Xie Qiru's laughter came from the devil mirror. Qin Yun said, Sister Qiru, try to communicate with Mu Yu. Help me ask her if she is ready to evolve into Primal Chaos Divine Moon. If she is ready, I will help her evolve as soon as possible. All right, I'm just worried that Mu Yu will be as scared as she was back then. Xie Qiru faintly sighed. Mu Yu has been sealed for many years. It is not easy to communicate with her now. Back then it was Yuan Mei who pawned her. She didn't do anything to Yuan Mei, right? Qin Yun said. The situation back then was pardonable. Yuan Mei had no choice but to do so to protect the overall situation. Mu Yu did not blame Yuan Mei at all. In short, now is a new beginning. We are all very open-minded. Xie Qiru said. Qin Yun said, since it is like this, don't let them recover their memories, so that their mental state won't be affected. Xie Qiru said with smile, let nature take its course. Your big sister Yang knows that Mu Yu has lost a lot of her memories. She always pestered me to tell her about it. To say you don't know, Qin Yun said with smile. Xiao Yun, your big sister Yang has been nourished by you. She has become a lot more beautiful. Xie Qiru said with charming smile. Yuan often talks about her like that. It makes her very shy. Qin Yun shook his head and laughed. All right, I will go cultivate Nether Sun spirits. Those Nether Sun spirits are growing very well inside the 9 Divine Soul. Xiao Yun, we will surely be able to smoothly create 9 primal chaos divine suns in this life. Xie Qiru said with smile. We will surely succeed. Qin Yun nodded. After cutting off the connection, Qin Yun sent Nether Sun power into the pill transformation heavenly furnace and checked all kinds of information on the devil mirror. Xian Rujing is inside the 9-son divine soul, imparting some things to Zi, Qingsheng, and others. Ling Yuner said, Xiao Yun, what's going on with Mother Moon? Mother Moon is jointly created by 9 suns. Mother Moon gave birth to many other moons. Moreover, it is also the birthplace of 9-son divine maiden. I once wanted to help Mother Moon evolve into primal chaos divine moon, but Mother Moon was afraid of being destroyed by heavenly Tao, so she refused. Qin Yun said, "That means Nether Moon desolate domains, Nether Moon was placed there by you back then?" Ling Yuner said, Nether Moon desolate domains Nether Moon was originally used to fuse with Mother Moon. Later I want to give it to you, but you failed to subdue the Nether Moon and finally returned to me. Qin Yun said with smile, "After so many years, I did not expect that it would return to me." That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.